it out on Facebook. Oh, yeah. What is up, Fence fam? So good to see you guys again, virtually, as it were. Hope you guys had a great week. Here in Southwest Missouri is a little bit soggy. We got a little bit wet this week, but we're not made out of sugar. And we didn't melt, so all is good. Hope everything is going good for you guys. If you guys read the description, you know who today's guest is. The one, the only, Mr. Fence.
What's up?
Shawn, how are you?
Let's go. I'm fantastic. Fired up. Come on.
You've got some big news, but we're not going to share it yet. What we're going to do is we're going to let everyone at home guess what in the world is your big news. So if you guys are at home watching, drop that in the comments below.
Let's hear some guesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because with Shawn King, you have no idea. I mean, it could be anything.
Well, that's the thing. So, Shawn, when you texted me, you're like, hey, when we were talking about you coming on, you're like, I've got a big announcement. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. He goes, and you said, do you know what it is? Like, I have no idea. But it could be anything. Like it could be a new tool. It could be like a new company. Like that's not unheard of. It could be like you teamed up with Elon and you're going to go fence the moon or something. Like you never know.
We didn't start with SpaceX, so we got his attention. The SpaceX tool did that by design. I love it.
So guys, drop some guesses in the comments below and we'll bring those up and chat about them. First of all, let's say hi. We got to say hi to Roger. Roger has been here for half an hour. What is up?
Roger's always there early, is he not?
I know, that's the thing. Well, a few weeks ago, we hadn't seen him in a few weeks, and we almost sent out the search posse just to make sure he's okay. But then he came back. So,
oh my gosh.
Then also he says hello, Shawn, as well.
What's up?
You know these guys. Aloha Fence. How we roll. I like the channel change, the name change there.
How we roll. I love it.
He's fine. Actually, and so Josh was just on Dan Wheeler's podcast. Great podcast. If you guys don't listen to Dan Wheeler's podcast, you should. The Fence Industry Podcast. I like Josh's interview for sure. So there's like a company up there he was talking about. Actually, he said he took you there. 7 generations.
Yes.
I can't make that make sense in my head. You know what I mean? Like
that's a lot of granddad's fencing.
Yeah. So 3 years ago is like 55 for us. So it's like, okay, another 3 would be like 1900. Like they've been fencing since the 1800s or something.
Oh my gosh.
You want to talk about
there was fencing back then.
Barbed wire, I guess. I don't know. You had to keep the wildlife in them.
Rocks was probably
probably. Joe River says, hello, Fence fam. Straight Arrow Fence in Florida. Florida is already representing. Yep. It's always Florida and Texas because here comes, this guy, Kenny Dugan. Happy Easter from Texas.
What's up, Kenny?
Good morning. Good morning. We also know this guy, the one, the only Cannon Johnson.
My man. He was just at our place yesterday.
I saw that. Yeah. He said, even though Shawn's not here, still get treated like family.
Yep. I love it.
That's when you know you've got your culture figured out, is that you don't even have to be around and people still get treated really right.
That's right.
Shane says, shout out from the 317 team GSFC in the house.
Good Shepherd Fence Company in the house. 317 is their area code.
I was getting ready to make up something like GSFC. What's up, Shane? How are you?
Shane likes some abbreviations. Acronyms.
This is a guy I know. What's up, fellow Joe? Joe Robles is he's insurance guy here in Springfield. I thought you were the king of fences, Joe. Well, there's already a fence king, Joe. So we can't step on toes here. There's room for all of us. All right. And then Bo says Walla Walla Fence tuned in.
Walla Walla.
Bo. We know this guy, Tony Thornton. Good morning, gentlemen.
Tony.
Good morning, Tony.
He's probably flying somewhere right now.
Yeah, Tony, if you're currently flying, be careful. Like, don't
attention.
Navigate first, right? Like there's a rule in there somewhere about navigate first. So always do that. Aviate, navigate. I don't know. So Roger says hello. Roger's in this. He said hello 3 times now. He wants to make sure. Roger, hello. But Roger's always taking care of us and reminding everybody to not forget to hit the thumbs up. And that's right. Whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, there is some version of the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Whether you like it or if you're on LinkedIn, if you applaud, I think that's the thing over there. Whatever. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you get a notification each and every time we got new content available. I haven't said that one lately, so it gets a little jumbled in my mouth. James Westbrook is here. The Gator 3000. Good guess. Good guess.
Maybe.
Could be it. Could be it. Tracy Henry, good morning. How are you? Ken says Heather and Shawn are getting married. Well,
that's already been released.
Yeah. That announcement's that one's already. I mean,
that already shipped.
Yeah, the physical announcements have already been shipped. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then he said it twice just to make sure everyone. All right, your guess has been counted.
If he said they are already married, now that could be.
Oh, that
I don't know.
That would be an announcement. So not ruling it out, Ken. Not ruling it out. Man. Cannon thinks you might be pregnant. So I mean, that would
be a huge announcement.
That would be a massive, and I don't know that we would make that announcement here. Like, I don't know if this is the right platform for that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be in the fence business anymore if I could figure that one out.
Well, yeah, it would be in a science journal, I think, or a medical journal. Right. Yeah. Brady Crow says, "Good morning, everyone. Let's go." You bet. Maybe RV and big tour. Well, Shawn is in an RV, so maybe. I like where this is going. Sorry, insider info. I don't. Josh, you just got to wait like everybody else. Maybe. Tracy says, Shawn King sitting in his new RV. He is. Is that where you're at? It looks pretty slick there.
I am sitting in an RV. That's right. Mobile office.
I like mobile office. So for real, when we were still doing in-person consults, I was legit looking at one of the Sprinter vans and just turning it into a mobile office. I'm tired of right in the front seat, and I got my laptop kind of on the middle console, but it falls off sometimes. I had a printer in the passenger seat. I was like, this is redneck as all. We need to do this better. And so then we got a Ford Sprinter for our stain truck. And as I'm driving that thing around, I'm like, I could put an office back here. I saw a guy that had a version of an office. Now I'm driving. I'm like, yeah, I should do that. Just have a desk back there that's bolted down.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I used to do it with my truck and my laptop pulled out between estimates, but never really thought about having a mobile office where you could just sit back there and crank it away until you go to the next appointment.
Yeah, I got that from a landscaper. And then he could pull up to a job site, hang out with the guys for a little bit. He gets something that needs his attention in email, hops in, logs in, does the whole thing. That's
a great idea. And think about the advertisement for the side of that Sprinter van. It's a lot of surface area to wrap.
Oh, it is a rolling billboard. Absolutely, because those Sprinter vans, the one we had was pretty long. I mean, it's pretty good size.
Never thought about that. I'm thinking now. Maybe my estimator's office. We're outgrowing our office. We might need to buy him a Sprinter van with a rear office, and that'll be his mobile office. Permanent.
And I mean, think about it in terms of an office, not a bad size.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
No, it's those things are awesome.
Yeah, they're not, and they drive very nice. We had one with the Eco Turbo 2000 or something. It drove really good. It had the Eco Boost. Bentley. Maybe Shawn got a Bentley. Okay.
I got a dog named Bentley.
A dog named Bentley. All right. Jonathan says, hello, everyone from Northeast Ohio. OHIO, says Jonathan. That's also how you spell Ohio. See, that's why that's their chant, I think, is because it works out really
Ohio.
Well. If you meet an Ohio fan, all you gotta say is OH, and they will scream back at you IO. Just to prove, I think it's just to prove they know how to spell it, but I don't know. John Bowdy, what is up, goats?
Howdy. What's up?
Rowdy Bowdy. I got that one from Tom Reber. You used to call him Rowdy Bowdy, and it stuck. Dan Wheeler's here.
Oh, Dan's in the house.
We're just talking about you and your podcast this week with Josh over at Aloha Fence. Good morning to you as well. Miguel says, Lorraine, Ohio in the house. This is awesome. My two favorite Fence Pros brothers, Joe and Shawn. Blessings family.
That's right.
Miguel,
Fence family.
You. That's the thing is we're all one big Fence fam. I mean, we call it that for a reason, right?
Yep.
Ryan says, good morning, guys. Send it. I love it. I love it. It's some okay. It's Amy Seymour. Okay, I butchered that name. It's me. It's Amy. It's probably just one of the. Anyway, that's a nice camper. Here's the thing, though. Shawn's new to the RV world, so he's not going to fight you yet for calling it a camper. But once he's in this life for a little while, you do not tell guys with coaches that they are campers. That will lead to some hurt feelings.
I don't know.
Well, that's just because you have give it a little bit. Give it 6 months, Shawn, and you get a comment about a camper, and you will be very quick to correct that this is a motor coach.
Oh, geez.
I heard that once. So, Todd Sculsey says, "Good morning from Boston." Good morning, Todd.
Well, good accent.
It's my best. I don't know.
That's your best attempt.
Yeah, that's it. That's my best shot at it. Iris says, "Hello, everyone." Hello, Iris. Stony Creek Fence. Rowdy Bowdy says, "What is up, goats? Thank you for viewing us on both channels, John." Hey, seriously, John's the one I talk about. You guys should follow Stony Creek Fence because when I'm talking about doing live video and getting comfortable on video, I reference John all the time, just doing his project walks.
That's right.
You guys should follow him. I like it. Roger says, "Hey, Shawn, are you teaming up with Tony Thornton?" Maybe. That could be it. That could be it. Michael Bain, what is up? Joe Everest, Orange is looking good. How's the boot game?
What's up with the boot game?
I can get him up here.
Oh!
Boot game is strong. Actually, everyone I talk to talks about these boots. Oh, Shawn's getting ready to show us his boot game. So these things look like Cayman, like they really look like Cayman. They're actually just stamped leather. So everywhere I go, everyone's like, "Oh, great work boots." I'm like, "Listen, they're stamped leather. They're actually less than my Ariat." So anyway, Shawn, what's your boot game looking like?
I don't know.
Pretty strong.
And this could be a clue. Maybe I'm going on tour at a country music band.
Oh, what? Shawn, don't give it away. Don't give it away. We got to let him guess for a little while.
I'll give my cowboy hat out next.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen you in a cowboy hat. Not bad. When you're over in Nashville.
Yes.
Aiden says, "Hey, Joe, what is up, Aiden?" Okay, so someone already guessed this. Thomas said he's starting a solo country band. He's going on tour.
Dang.
All we can say is maybe. We haven't revealed it yet. We will reveal it shortly.
In the boots.
I love those new boot goofing videos on TikTok. Those things are hilarious. Absolutely. Zachary Griffin says, "Morning, all from Straight Arrow Fence in Florida." Another Florida boy. Good morning. That's the truth. All right. What were we talking about up here? I always forget kind of where we're at.
We've got
this is the motor coach versus camper discussion.
Oh, okay.
All right. Is it a true CRM software for fence industry?
God, I hope so.
Maybe. Well, wouldn't that be great? But
Lord
maybe.
Have mercy. Come on.
Here's the thing with CRM software. In the first one of them that kind of figures it out for the fence industry will just win, right? They will win all the tokens. They will make all the money because the frustrating part is it's always trying to figure it out, right? Or trying to Frankenstein it together with like 2 or 3 other things.
That's right.
And it's just, and I understand what it is. Like they're good at this thing. And then they try to be more encompassing, right? They either figure out the CRM or they figure out the proposals or they figure out the scheduling.
Yep. Scheduling.
And then they try to do other stuff. Like, I don't know if it's going to take I think probably what it's going to take is like a holding company that just starts acquiring these. And then puts it together.
Sign me up for that. I would like to be part of that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Because what they're trying to do now is like through integrations, which is okay, but integrations never quite work well. And
they all have, they're separate companies integrating, but they all have different goals, ambitions. Right.
Well,
and
even if they play well together, they're still just like tacking something onto their main thing.
All right.
Like, well, you can play with me, but this is my thing, and this is how it's going. I think that's what it's going to take. I think it needs to be a holding company that acquires a couple of these and then just makes them play well together.
I like that.
Maybe. But if someone could figure that out, fantastic. Aloha Fence says, Froyland says, "Hi, Shawn. He met up with me while I'm vacuuming my truck out."
Okay. Oh, Froylan. Okay, what's up, Froylan?
Michael Bain says he likes your boots.
Good looking boots. Ah!
Tracy Henry also likes the boots.
You either hate him or like him. Love him.
Nick Smith says Smith Bop Fence, Uxbridge, Massachusetts. Man, I hope I didn't just butcher that.
I'm pretty confident you did.
I'm sure I did, but it looks right. I pronounced it phonetically. So, Nick, welcome. All right. Let's tiptoe into the news.
All right.
We'll get there slowly. So we're going to add, I got it. Uxbridge. All right. I'm one for like 1 million. All right. So we're going to add this to the stream. We're going to do some different stuff here. Keep in mind, guys, I'm a fence guy that tries to do technology. All right. I think that looks good.
It looks like a postmaster.
It does. It does look like a postmaster, but that can't be the news, or else there'd be some pretty upset individuals.
Right. That would be old news, man.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think that's the news, but I do see that is the newest version of the X-Man.
I like it.
So the X-Man.
Because that's, I mean, full transparency, Sean, we've talked about this. That's why I never really got into the X-Man tools, because we're almost exclusively Postmaster. I understand there's Lifetime and there's all these other posts out there. We like Postmaster. That's what I don't like, that they're almost $40 a piece now.
Right.
And 2 years ago, we were paying $18.50 for these things.
Oh my gosh.
That sink in. So
that's nuts.
Luckily, we bought a couple thousand of them when they were a little bit lower price. But anyway, that's why we hadn't used the X-Man, was because we couldn't figure out a way to make it work.
And all truth be told, this is not the first X-Man that we thought we had figured out for the Postmaster. So we had the model before this, think we had nailed it. But we designed it for the way that we use the Postmasters, which is backwards from the way that Postmaster recommends you use them.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about trying to use our X-Man Postmaster version on Postmasters the way they're intended to be used. It didn't work. So back to the drawing board, we had to reinvent the Postmaster X-Man and to where it work on both sides of the Postmaster. So you can do the crazy thing that Shawn does, run them backwards, or you can do them like you're supposed to, run them forward, or the way you're supposed to. And then we don't want to have a custom X-Man, because we don't want you to have to carry two of them.
Yeah.
So this X-Man is works on both 4x4s and Postmasters. This is not, I'll go ahead and tell you guys right now, this is not the big announcement. Ding, 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 ding. This is just a preliminary update.
What? This is the opening announcement. Just like when you have bands, you got openers.
Right.
Actually, so technically when you have big concerts, usually there's a couple openers.
Yeah. So this is
there's one that's like playing when everyone's getting seated. And then once everyone's got seated, there's another guy a little bit better, a little bit louder, a little bit faster, just getting people warmed up. And then the main act comes in.
Yeah. The other advantage of this X-Men is it's those people that have the X-Men is probably a year or two old. This one is beefy as all get out. Like you could probably use it as a ramp on your trailer to get your MT-85 off. Not saying you can, but it's close.
Right. Let me go back a few just see. Yeah. So Shawn, so that is that finger like just holding it in line with the Postmaster?
It holds extremely well. Yeah, there's a couple of those fingers like that. The sandwich that goes on very fast. It actually works better on a Postmaster than it does a 4x4. Like it literally just snaps right on there, and it's
kidding.
Yeah.
Well, because I've seen them work pretty well on 4x4s. So at St. University, I watched you use it with some fence you're building. So
Yep. This one
works even better.
Works very, very slick, very smooth operation, fast.
And then this just keeps it right in line with the top.
That top, yep.
Nice.
So everything's top-down measurement. The only way to use an X-Man is to build your fence with a top-down type of construction. Yep. So it's not for everybody.
So you line your tops. You make sure your tops are all either set to height or cut.
Yep.
I'm not here for that. Argument, but yeah.
But this works.
And then once you set it on there, it's ready to go.
And then, across the country, we've had feedback. People run different reveals, 4, 5, 6, 7 reveals. So this one X-Men does all those reveals, as well as there's some guys that like to put their rails an inch down from the top of the post intentionally. It's by design. So this will actually do that as well. So those 4 Those five different options.
So it's fully adjustable, it sounds like.
But so no moving parts. I've learned my lesson.
Okay.
Why the straightaway doesn't have a leg that kicks down, because moving parts means guys will lose nuts, bolts, brackets, hinges, whatever. If it moves, if it adjusts, what's going to happen is they're going to lose that piece or break the adjustment, and then they're going to tell their boss, well, I quit using that 2 months ago because I lost the nut.
Yeah. So, well, no, they won't say that. They'll just say it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
Well, why didn't it work? Well, it doesn't work.
Yeah. So we try to build everything at Mr. Fence Tools with the thought in mind that this thing can be used as a hammer. This thing can be used as a ramp. It's going to continue working. I try to make them as bulletproof as practically possible.
Sure.
So there's no moving parts, but it does accommodate those 5 styles of fence. Yeah.
So then do they just order according to what they want their reveal to be?
Nope. So it's so there's, if you zoom in on that picture at all, there's like a fish scales, I almost call it, in the center there. You see those little hash marks, right?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Those laser cut marks. You can't really see it in the middle of that X-Men, right dead nut in the middle of that, and at the bottom and at the top, there's marks, and those marks are indicators of where your top of your rail goes. So if you're running a 7 reveal, then you run the top of the rail at all the 7s. So in the middle, there'll be a number 7. At the bottom, be a number 7. The top will be a number 7. So there's no thinking about like what number, like 22 inches, 27. None of that. It's just, if you run 7s, you run to 7s. If you run 6, you run to 6. You run 5, you run to 5. If you run them at 1 inch down, you run them to the arrows. I mean, really tried to keep it simple.
Super straightforward. Excellent. Well, and this kind of works out because in the description, when I scheduled this, in the description, one of the links I put there was Mr. Fence Tools. So is this live on Mr. Fence Tools right now?
We're producing them this week.
Okay.
So they're shortly. Still back ordered. We've got I think we have probably, I mean, we've had people order these in the past 2 weeks that they're waiting on these to get done. So we're a little delayed because it's a process. Every time we make a tool, an adjustment, you literally don't, it's surprising how often we make a simple adjustment and it screws everything else up, and we're back to the drawing board. I mean, that's happened multiple times. I really thought this would be a simple bam bam fix, and then we end up screwing up this or that, and we won't know until we build it and we try it to really find out if it works well. So that's why the delays are in there. You can order it. Yes, it is on back order, and we're producing them this week. So
that kind of answers this question. Well, Corey first said it's not powder coated in, well, I'm not going to say that word, blue. All right. So how long before they reach production? So it sounds like in the near future.
Yeah, that we're producing this week, and then we got a powder coat the following week. So we're gonna.
Oh, they are going to be powder coated.
Yeah, they'll be powder coated blue like everything else. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that answers Corey's question.
The prototype right here.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yep. So Shawn, you probably have a better idea of this than I do. I don't do a lot of vinyl. Eddie wants to know who's the top vinyl fence manufacturer these days. Certainty, Buff Tech. I don't know.
Well,
we don't do vinyl.
I can confidently say if you were to classify that by volume, it's Barrett. Okay. Barrett Outdoor Living, from what I've been told, is by far leading the industry in producing. Okay. The conversations about top vinyl, that's a lot of personal preference on. Sure. You know, some people are better at X, and then some people are better at Y, and others are better at Z. Yeah. You got to figure out what your needs are, what you're looking for. And in vinyl fence, you got white vinyl fence, and you got wood grade vinyl fence, you have economy vinyl fence, you have decorative vinyl fence, and then combination of vinyl. So, like, what type? I don't know. Like,
when it probably depends on where you're located too, like regionally, like what you need how you need your fence to perform in your area.
Yep. So Certainty is a great company. I mean, there's a lot of great companies out there right now, but by all means, they are definitely a great company. But so is Active Yards, Barrett. Yeah. You know, there's Becca. There's so many great companies out there. National vinyl products. I think they just got purchased by Barrett. Actually, MVP did. Yeah.
Nice. Little man's here. Hey, Daddy from Jackson.
Oh wow,
Jackson. Hello. Listen to your mom. He always needs that reminder. So this guy says the announcement is Shawn's going to buy my fence business and open a location here. Could be.
Well, PM me.
I mean, listen, the answer is never no.
Yeah. No, it's not a no.
Sometimes it's not now, right?
Right.
I'm not going to say that.
Jedi.
We'll call this guy Jedi. Says, may the force be with you. Thank you.
We need it.
Josh says, we love the fact that these are all American made. That means a lot to me. Cost does not matter because the tools pay for themselves.
Well, the American made thing is a big deal for us. I mean, not every tool on our site is American made, but every tool that Mr. Fence Tools has designed and builds is American made. In that picture on that table back there, I mean, we're literally building these in our fab shop. There's a dig jig on the table back there. There's a thumper on the back of that. I mean, these are handmade by our guys in Indiana currently, right? And the plan is to try to keep that as long as possible. Like we want to be made in America. So as long as we can hold up to the demand, we're in.
Well, yeah, I agree. And I think people would be willing to deal with a little lag in production to know that it's American made.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think if you put it to the people that way, say, hey, listen, we could keep up with all the demand we could ever want, but you're going to be import, which if one thing we learned in 2020 and beyond has been there are some limitations when you're importing anything.
That's right.
Right. Like there's still containers stuck outside LA right now, just waiting to get in. So the hinges we sell, the shark hinges have that problem. They are at the mercy of the Port Authority. They said, hey, we've got 23 containers bobbing in the ocean right now, just waiting to come off. But, you know, for whatever reason, and then you talk to the Port Authority and they say it's a trucking line, but then you talk to the truck guy. Everyone's blaming everyone else. But the point being is when you buy from Mr. Fence Tools, you know where it's coming from. So.
Yes.
So check out the link in the description.
Yeah, my mom, my son, and my best friend are working their tail off to make those. So,
absolutely. Nick says, Brett, for sure. I like using Active Yards. Now, full transparency, Shawn, that's who you guys use, right? Active Yards?
Yes.
I think it looks great. We're different markets sell different things, right?
That's right.
And so our market's not really a vinyl market. We've got some guys that do vinyl, but if we were, after seeing Shawn's, Active Yards would probably be.
So there's two people that made that comment to me recently. I think they're both on here. Or at least I know one of them is. Alex is on here. He told me his area is not a vinyl market. And we work with Alex at Fencing Unlimited. And he told me that. And I said, oh, yeah, it's not a vinyl market because you're not selling it yet. So we sent him a truckload or ordered him a truckload of vinyl. He's already sold the truckload of vinyl. It's not even there yet. He's never sold vinyl.
No kidding.
Ever. He's like, this is nuts. I'm like, I'm telling you, you got to build the market. If you say that there's not a vinyl market, it's because no one's doing it yet. That's a perfect time to make it a vinyl market. So same thing. Louisiana got Chris Steele down there and Trev, and same thing. You can't sell vinyl fence down here. Nobody does. Send a truckload. Oh, we need more. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not a vinyl market because you haven't made it a vinyl market. So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's some possibility in areas that we wouldn't have suspected. That's all.
Yeah. So it's probably just a limiting belief in our mind that. Yeah, absolutely. Alex says, true story, Fencing Unlimited.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Let's see. It's Mario. It's a meme. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Sometimes you just really gotta really just explain things to me. Like just lay it out there.
It's me, Mario.
Sometimes you gotta talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old because that's where I'm at. Nathan Dow says, very cool tool. I agree. I absolutely agree. We should probably do a video on this tool since we do a lot of Postmaster posts.
Yesterday we used the tool to training here locally, and the guys were consistently running rails by themselves, one section in about a minute. You know, some of the guys a little faster, 50 seconds, some guys a minute 20, but it's just a repeatable, easy, teachable process that's simple that even the newest guy on the team could do it without being a fence ninja. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And that's one of your big goals in the academy, right? Is taking guys with little to no experience and then turning them into fencing professionals.
Right. That's the goal.
Because when you're hiring, for us at least, when we're hiring someone, we want someone with no experience.
I like that.
We don't want to retrain. Right. We don't want. I tell you, the comment that drives me up the wall is, well, when I was here, we did it this way. Okay, fantastic. That probably worked there, but in the larger scope of our workflow, this way works best for us.
Yeah.
But no, I like what you're up to.
Yep.
I like what you're up to with the tools, because it really allows that young professional, we'll call them, to really prosper, because they've got the right equipment in their hands.
Well, it standardizes the installation for your team throughout your company. You've standardized it. You've made it predictable. You know what you're going to get in return, the results, and it's measurable, right? So you can measure those results. So it's a different look at it. Yeah, there's fence ninjas out there that can probably rail faster without the tool, by all means. I promise you. But that's not who we were trying to help. That's not really our focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Making it repeatable. Making the process repeatable consistently. Absolutely. Yep. Jim Bray says, good morning, guys.
What's up, Jimmy Bray?
Good morning, Jim. Nick says they do probably 80% vinyl. That's incredible.
That's
Zachary Griffin says markets are different. I was in St. Louis a few weeks ago and I was shocked at the amount of 4-foot chain link and almost no vinyl. Here in Florida, vinyl is everywhere. Yeah, so we're about 3 hours from St. Louis, 3 hours southwest, and we're predominantly wood until lately with the wood prices is what they are. So now we're getting back into chain link, both galvanized and vinyl coated. We've always done it on the commercial side, but now residential black coated chain link is in demand right now.
So I was in Utah recently and met with Aloha Fence and Josh Rand and Victor Vasquez, and I was absolutely blown away at the amount of vinyl fence in Utah. Holy cow!
Well, and what's crazy is when
everywhere
I'm in these fence groups, we're all in these fence groups, and we're not supposed to talk about pricing. Like, that's a whole discussion, but there's still guys that talk about pricing. All right.
Right.
For what I see, it used to be vinyl, you paid a premium. Like you installed wood, and then if you're willing to pay a premium, you could upgrade that to vinyl. Now it sounds like they're really similar price points, which is probably a reason why vinyl is taking off, sort of thing.
I think so.
Let's see. Alan says my area was a vinyl market 10 years ago. Problem is a lot of people bought cheap stuff and ruined it.
I've seen that happen as well. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, everyone hears horror stories. I mean, that's in our market. I can't tell you how many times people say, well, they're not doing vinyl because in wintertime it cracks. They say it gets cold and brittle and cracks. Like, well, but here in Southwest Missouri, we don't really we have a winter, but not compared to like Josh up there at Aloha. Like, no way our winters are the same. Like, it gets a lot colder for a lot longer, and they obviously have success with it.
Right.
So I think that's probably one of our problems in this market is there was probably just some really cheap stuff going around that really ruined people on vinyl for a while.
Yep.
Which means there's probably an opportunity to bring quality vinyl into the market and really do well. Avakin says, hi from Indonesia.
Wow.
Avakin, welcome.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic. Thomas Crane says, last year I was 90% PVC.
Wow.
Unreal. So that's the thing is I bet when you looked at our residential books from like 18 and 19 prior to the pandemic, we were probably 90% wood on the residential side. Like, we had one crew, they were just geared up for wood. They were the wood crew. And then we had another crew that did everything else, right? They did a little bit of aluminum, steel, chain link, whatever. But now we do a little bit of everything for everybody. All right. So X-Men is not the big announcement. That's not it. It's a warm-up announcement.
Warm up.
So if you guys have guesses for the big announcement, keep those guesses coming. You never know. Let's go to, so that was this was actually the warm-up to the warm-up.
Yep.
There's another one.
Boom.
So
what is this?
I'll ask you to explain this a little bit. So we talked about this a little bit before. I like this concept a lot. So let's lay the foundation that a lot of people are talking about accreditation right now and why it's important. What sets one contractor apart from another, right? So in our market, I'm sure it's every market, we have had just a flood of professionals come into our market, right? Like, everyone that thinks they could do fence. I'm talking the house remodelers. I'm talking about the guys that do cabinets, also do fence now. Landscapers have always kind of ever done fence here, but you're seeing more of that. You're seeing just anyone and everyone getting into fence. The question is, how do you set yourself apart? Which I think is a good segue into what you're up to here.
Absolutely, right. So again, standardize process and procedures that are measurable, repeatable, teachable for our team members, and then try to quantify that and give our team members some sort of acknowledgement for mastering those type of things. So, that's what Mr. Fence Academy focuses on. And what we've missed up to this point was recognizing those people that actually fully embrace that and give them credit for it amongst their peers. And, we know this. We know in our company and others that I work with, we know that what gets measured improves. What gets measured and reported improves exponentially. It's the reporting process is so important. Like when you tell somebody good job and you tell them good job, that's great. But when you tell everybody they did a good job, that's better. Okay. It's kind of like back in grade school when you got your award in front of everybody and the whole school saw it. That was different than you got the gold star on a piece of paper.
Yep.
So that's just who we are. We want that acknowledgement. We want that recognition. And in our teams, as we try to grow our teams and culture and all these pieces, we need to start giving credit where credit's due, appreciation, right? And solid feedback. So with these trainings we've been doing now for, I don't know, close to a year and a half, 2 years, we've been doing trainings across the country, and we've worked hard to try to find those little nuggets, all those little pieces, and put them into an exam, a quiz. Okay. It's 126 sections. It's 126 questions. It's kind of intense, actually, on 2 disciplines, only wood and vinyl, what we currently have. And they're not necessarily like ASTM, all type of questions. They include some of those. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But it's more like process procedures, understanding different positions on the team, who should be doing what, even like simple things like backing up a truck. Like, should you have a spotter? Like, all these things that we preach and talk about to try to make our teams more consistently delivering a finished product safely, reducing risk so that we can run a business and not have to be on site all the time, right? And then give our team members the tools needed to win every day. Like all of our fence installers want to do a great job. Oftentimes they don't know. And then as you teach them those pieces, they're like, oh, because most stuff they'd figure out on their own. So teach them, then you got to get them to learn it. So we have, if you pass the exam, and they can take I should call it a quiz. It's not an exam. It's all multiple choice. It's not terribly complicated on that end. No written paragraphs or, simple for fence guys to take on their phone. Yeah. It's an app. So it's not even a piece of paper and pen intimidating like a test. It's literally, they can take it in the comfort of their own home. So everyone that goes to the academy classes, the training, they get to take the test or a quiz. And you either you become a rookie if you didn't pass, and you can take it again. Or if you pass, you can keep co-foreman, foreman, or pass with the Fence Ninja. And yesterday we had a guy pass. He's only been in the business for, I want to say 6 months. And he only missed one question on his, I think, second attempt on the test. So he really paid attention for the past 2 days and got a Fence Ninja, Mr. Fence Pro Ninja yesterday. So that was really awesome. His owners were thrilled to hear this guy took it upon himself to take the test and take it twice and become a Mr. Fence Ninja. Right.
Fantastic.
So that's exciting. I love that we can do this. And the guys that we've shown this to so far, we've probably had 100 people take this. Great feedback, trying to perfect it. I'm not a school teacher. I don't know how to make quizzes. So we've had plenty of mistakes in there. Like number 18 doesn't make sense. Ah, crap. Go in there and fix that one. It wasn't supposed to be a trick question really, but it, fix it.
Turned into one. Yeah.
Yeah. That happened many times, but I think we're getting better. The quiz is getting a whole lot better now. And a lot of feedback from the guys are helping us improve it. And, we take that feedback and say, we'll change that question with this word or that word, or even learning that some of the stuff on there works for us. But as we travel around, like that question, that your answer is different in Florida. Your answer would be different in Michigan. So we gotta adapt the quiz to where it's geographical somewhat.
Yeah, because I think that's one thing we're learning as we get into these platforms that have a national and international reach, is that a lot of the techniques are regional.
Yep.
You can get to the same end point, right? You can get to the same solution, but how you get there is a little bit different depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. David would like to know, when are you coming to North Carolina? Mr. Fence Pro would like to attend a course.
Sweet. North Carolina. We're going to be there soon.
Interesting.
Actually.
Interesting. So stay tuned for future announcements. Right. So that we talked about this being wood and vinyl. So then Eddie asked, can the Fence Ninja cut a chain link bias?
So I would say that would be the chain link version that we haven't finished yet. So what we find is most of our requests are for help with the vinyl and wood discipline.
Sure.
Right. We can probably offer some help with some chain link as well. I'm not a fence ninja when it comes to chain link. I know a fair bit about it, but I would probably get someone else on our team, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that is a fence ninja with chain link. If we got more requests for it, it's just not something that we get a request for.
Sure. Well, but to answer your question, Eddie, obviously bias cut is an integral part of understanding how to install chain link.
Yeah.
Shawn and I were both at the AFA, on the road training up in Lincoln, Nebraska, Waverly, Nebraska, actually, to be specific, up at Empire. And that was one of the things they taught there, was the bias cut on chain link. So they had I thought it was a really good chain link module. It was a long chain link module, and it was in the middle of a field with no shade, and it was warm that particular day. So people faded towards the end of the day, but I mean, we did both residential and chain link, residential and commercial. But bias cut was a huge part of that, just because I think people really need to understand it. And it's not intuitive at first, right? Like once you explain it, once you've done one or two of them, it clicks and you get it. But no, you're right, Eddie. I mean, I think knowing how to bias cut is an integral part of knowing how to install chain link. Absolutely. Corey wants to know, is this certification tied to AFA or NAFCA or another standalone? If so, how is it different?
So it's absolutely not tied to AFA or NAFCA. And I don't really want to use the word certification. It's a certificate up there. But this is really geared towards the Mr. Fence way process and procedures to build residential type fence focused on standardized methods that are teachable, repeatable, measurable, and predictable. So this really is not going to, I don't see ever tie to AFA, ASTM standards and NAFCA. These are us. This is like what we would do internally for Mr. Fence for our team members.
Sure.
And so those people that want to learn more about our processes and become a Mr. Fence Pro, see, it's not Fence Pro, it's a Mr. Fence Pro.
Yeah.
It means you really know our process, our procedures.
Sure. Well, and I think that's a good differentiator. I mean, AFA has theirs. I don't know that NAFCA has one right now, a certification, but I think it would show kind of a well-roundedness to have multiples of these, right? Yeah. To say, hey, I understand the Mr. Fence way. I also understand, I've been through the AFA field training for this also. And I think the more education you can get, the better.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the day you stop learning is the day you start falling behind, sort of thing. Yep. But I mean, here's the thing: is what we had just kind of talked about was that it's done differently in different regions too. And you can have two professionals in the same market that have been doing it for generations, and they might do it a little bit differently also. Yep. I think you're going to see just different ways of building it. But this shows that they've learned and accomplished it your way. Would that be a way to put it?
Yeah, 100%. Yep. The Mr. Fence way.
There you go. Kevin Berg has a question. It says, help. I have 10 or so trees along my property line, and I'd like to replace my old chain link fence. Should I cut them down or bring the new fence in a few feet and lose yard size?
Bring the fence in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. So, I mean, I think it depends on your motivations, right? Or probably your priorities. I'm the same way. I would bring it in. You're not dealing with roots. Even if you cut the trees down and you ground the stumps, you'd still have a root system there that you're going to have to deal with. And you just cut down 10 trees out of your backyard, you know? So I would leave them be. I mean, trees are great for a variety of reasons, mainly shade and all that. But yeah, I'd bring your fence in because you could bring it in. What do you think, Shawn? 2 foot at most to miss the root system.
Depends on the type of trees, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know.
Good call. Here in Missouri, we'd probably bring it in 2 feet, and I think you'd be fine. Our trees seem like the tap roots go down, not so much go out, but different things and different roots.
Yep.
Kevin, my answer is, or both of our answers would be you bring it in. Yep. I always hate seeing trees get cut down. As long as it takes for those things to grow, leave them up. Project Metal Music is here all the way from the UK. Hey, Joe and Shawn. What's up? And then he didn't want to leave anybody out. So then he says, hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
All right. He is addressing the Fence fam as a whole when he says hello. Good afternoon, Project Metal Music. All right. We have teased this long enough, Shawn. This has gone on for 50 minutes.
Send it.
Well, 45 minutes. So this is the first slide of kind of the idea of what's going on.
Right. So the concept, this is we're taking the training on the road, literally going on the road. This is going to be the big tour, spring of next year, 2023. We're looking around. We haven't dialed in all the details yet, but we're looking around 28 to 30 training stops over about a 75-day period, 11,000 miles. And we're going to try to hit coast to coast. We get people asking for West Coast all the time.
Yeah.
And we just don't go out there enough. So we spend a lot of time on the East Coast. So we're going to get our butts out there, and we are going to take this show on the road. It's happening.
I love it.
Full send.
I love it.
So we're excited to kind of announce that this is happening. And I think it's been well received. We get a lot of requests and a lot of blessings for what we're doing in our industry. At the end of the day, we're just trying to help everyone be better and improve our industry, improve the professionalism as much as we can in our domain, in our niche piece, right? So I'm kind of excited about that. This will be primarily installation training, but there will actually be some other types of training along the way sprinkled in there. So we've had some requests for sales training. Again, that's related to our type of sales training.
Sure.
And business running your business training. So that'll be along the way as well. So this is just one trip. Doesn't mean we're also going to have multiple trips in between that, but our plan is hopefully once a year, do one full tour.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
That's obviously where the coach comes in.
So then that's where the coach comes in. So this is not a concept or brain trial. This has been full send. Like we've done it. Like the coach is here, and we are coming back from our first training today. So using the coach. Nice. So we were just at Superior Fence and Rail in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We got the coach in Florida on Monday. We left Florida on Tuesday. We drove straight to Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's a long haul.
It's a big drive.
And did our 2-day training there, wood and vinyl installation techniques, and we're on our way back. So I'm currently at an outlet mall parking lot looking around me as cars are parking everywhere. And Heather's inside shopping as we're doing this video.
Well, and as we said before, this could turn out into an expensive live stream for you.
Right. That's why we can't be on here very much longer.
Need to go get her out of there.
Yeah.
So Shawn, that has to be exhausting though, driving from Florida to Michigan and then jumping out and doing some training. How do you handle that?
I'm excited. This was so awesome. This training here, we parked the coach literally 100 feet from the front door of Superior Fence and Rail. So at 6:30 in the morning, I'm ready to go. Got my coffee, go out the door of the coach, and the crews are there in trucks. Like I don't have to drive from the hotel. We've been doing these trainings for, like I said, about a year and a half. A lot of traveling, a lot of airline. I had to go to a lot of airports and a lot of transportation back and forth, bus, car, then hotel to office, and office to job sites. And that was taxing, right? We might spend 8 hours, 10 hours on a job site, but I might spend 2 hours that day traveling. Like in Texas, we were driving an hour just to a job site sometimes. So,
yeah.
And then, then the hotel to the office. So,
yeah.
This allows me at the end of the day, just you get back to the shop. I walk right back into the RV, and we had our own little oasis, our own little home.
Yep.
Creature comforts. I'm trying to travel the country in a suitcase. I don't know how many pairs of chain link pliers have been taken from me, or notchers. They don't like those on the plane.
No.
I like checking bags. So it was rough, right? And then when you get there, did all the tools get shipped that we need to demonstrate on how to use?
Sure.
That was a problem.
Yeah.
So the idea is the coach will help us with creature comforts and allow us to be comfortable on the road and more energetic, apt to do more, coachings together. But the coach will have a partner behind it. And that will be a fully equipped trailer with all the tools that we would normally use to build a fence, not just Mr. Fence tools. I'm talking the circular saw that I use, the drill that I use, the postal diggers that I use, a little bit like completely equipped to build a residential fence the way that we do it in that trailer, as well as tools for those that we coach and teach to buy. I have a store in there as well. So
I like it.
So if you want to throw up a picture of what that thing looks like,
that
is done as well. There it is. That's the front of it.
This
Joe, you're on that trailer.
I was gonna say I really like the our right hand side of this. There's some orange in there, and I'm here for it.
That's right. There's the so it's a 20-foot enclosed trailer that we've got finished, completely graphicked out. The inside of the trailer is not finished, built out yet.
Let's pause real quick, Shawn. I like the use of QR codes.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one thing since the pandemic that has become incredibly widespread mainstream. Before pandemic, I think QR codes were like, how do I do it? Do I open my photo out? Do I take a picture of it? But now, mainly because all the restaurants went to QR codes, everyone had to figure it out in order to eat.
Yeah, they all figured it out.
Yeah, they applied the proper motivation. So now QR codes are so fantastic.
Yeah, we're actually putting on our shirts now.
I like it. At social media marketing world, everyone basically just had a business card with a QR code on it.
Yep.
Was it you? Yeah, you use the Vice cards, right?
So I have an app on my phone called Hi Hello, and it's a QR code, right? So,
okay.
Well, they can just scan that. My phone has a QR code, like a picture of it, and it gives them everything, all my social media content, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, groups, pages, all of it, phone numbers, emails, different companies, everything in real quick like that. You cannot fit all that onto a business card.
No, so I just got a Vice card, which I don't have my wallet on me, but it's like a metal card. It's got QR code on one side, but it also has a NFC chip, near field communication. Kind of a similar thing.
So we've got those little chips as well. They're like little black stickers for our phones. I haven't finished it yet, so learning it. But you stick that on the back of your phone, and then the same thing. So you just touch the phone, and they got everything. They don't have to take a picture of the QR code that way.
I like it because, how many times, Shawn, if you got a business card that you went, yeah, great, thanks, into the pocket it goes, and then it goes through the washing machine, and then your wife's like, hey, do you need this? Like, well, I don't now. I got to remember how to get a hold of them.
100%.
Permanent business cards. I like that a lot. Or I'm sorry, what was it? Hi Hello?
Hi Hello is what we use. Yep.
Hi Hello.
Yep.
Good to know. I think that's the way moving forward, and especially QR codes, because you can, obviously you've got different QR codes for different platforms, it looks like.
Right.
I like this so much.
Yep.
You can direct it right to them. All right, moving on.
This is the difference. So we got Mr. Fence Tools and Mr. Fence Academy, two separate things, right? So we have the awesome tools that you guys want to make your life easier, and your team members produce good quality fence repeatably, immeasurably, and predictably quickly. And then Mr. Fence Academy teach you how to use them. And they're two totally different things, right? Like a lot of the tools, the YouTube videos I'm being told that we have out there, they don't quite grasp exactly what the tool does until they see it in person. And they go, oh my God. I'm like, I just did the same thing that was in the video. I know, but now it makes sense.
Well, I had that experience, Shawn, and we've talked about that, to where like I'd seen your videos, like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. But I don't know how like it would apply to our process or anything like that. And then you had the training there at State University 2 years ago.
Yep.
And last year. Yeah. And it clicked. As soon as I saw it used in person, I was like, oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah. I get it. That makes sense now.
We had that on Thursday up here. A lot of these guys, they had the equalizers on their trucks. They haven't been using them. They've had them for 6-8 months, and they've just been riding in the back seat. They've seen the videos. They were told how to use them. But when I pulled it out and laid the job out in minutes, the light bulb went off for all of them. Like, oh, my God. They're like, I really thought I did. And I'm like, I don't know how else to. What else can I do?
You got to put it in their hands and make them use it. And then
make them use it. And then the light bulb goes off. And I'm like, oh, my God. So. Yep.
I like it. On the other side, look at this.
Yep. So that's my son, Colin. My mom's on there. Big parts of the, what allows me to be able to go out on the road and travel. There's a couple of things that happen here. One, my mom is working her butt off shipping every day, and my son's working his butt off on trying to get tools made every day. So I'm not doing that piece. So it allows me to have the time to go and coach and share and talk to fence guys and learn from fence guys and take that information and reshare it. And then the other part of the puzzle is, if you've noticed, we do have a fence business. It's a pretty big business in our town. And we have an amazing team with an amazing culture that I don't have to be there either. I don't have to be there running that business. They've really done a great job of using the process, procedures, and methods that I'm talking about. And the results are they're running the show very successfully, right? So I'm very blessed to have all those team members with us in this journey. Without them, this would not happen.
Well, I think that's an important conversation, Shawn, is like a lot of times when you ask someone the keys to success, like what their key is to success, it's predominantly the team.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have a great team that handles every aspect of this, and that's a question I get here on the channel. They're like, well, you don't have any videos of you building fence.
Yeah.
I don't, because I've got guys that are better than me at building fence out there building fence. Now, should we be showing that? Yes. And that's where we're headed with the channel, right? That's one of the reasons we brought Braden on, was that we're going to change the format. It's going to be basically like a behind the scenes look at Ozark fence and all that. But the point here being, could I go build a fence? Absolutely. I did it for years and years and years.
Right.
But I found people better at building fence than I am. And now they build the fence. Same thing with Sarah's better at running our residential division than I was. So she is now running our residential division, sort of thing. So you find someone better at you that doing the thing, and you let them do it.
That's right. That's what you want to multiply.
Having the team is the critical part of that. Absolutely.
So then the next part of this, what's our next slide?
Let's see.
Oh, okay. We'll leave that up for a second.
You went to Nationwide.
Right. So that leads us into another piece of the puzzle. We are partnering with some amazing community or industry specific businesses, right? So we've gotten some wonderful blessings from Barrett Outdoor Living and Active Yards, Nationwide Industries. These people love what we're doing, and Company Cam, Connect Teams, and Fence Armor, Al Martin's up there. Like, they are 100% behind our dream, right, and our journey to help our industry. That they are backing us tremendously. So we were down there buying the RV on Monday, and it was 5 miles from the headquarters of Nationwide Industries. So we got to go down and tour the facility, which is amazing, and have some good meetings with the powers to be at Nationwide, and we've come to an agreement that we are going to work together to improve this industry.
Nice.
Whatever way we possibly can. So that's awesome. Made us feel wonderful. Get the blessing and assistance, promotion, and support.
Sure. Absolutely. That's huge. Yep. We use a ton of Nationwide hardware. They sell very good stuff. So when I saw that you're there, I was like, this is incredibly exciting. I cannot wait to see where this goes.
Well, I don't want to let all the cats out of the bag yet. There's some things that we're going to work together on that I'm just so excited to have the ability to work with them on improving some pieces that would directly impact our teams in the field, like hardware kits and how they're put together. And can we improve kits from the guys actually using them every day? We've got guys in the field that are throwing away the lags in these kits and adding this one, and because they're better. Like, you're right. Like, But Nationwide was purchased by Prime Source, and Prime Source is massive, and they own, I believe it's several fastener companies. I think it's GRK, Grip Right. And, well, think about the synergy of taking those fasteners and improving our hardware by putting them together, right?
Yep.
Whoa! And then they should need the feedback. They don't have the fence geek on payroll, right?
Sure.
So they need that. They need that access to that fence geek to give them that information to put those pieces together. So we had some good talks and good meetings about how we can make some immediate changes, and possibly offer some kits that aren't available yet.
Nice.
That might even have a Mr. Fence stamp on it.
Love it. I like that a lot.
That's exciting. So, I love these guys, man. They're dedicated. They are working to get out of that owner-operator field into their entrepreneurialistic business, and that's Christian and John from down in Florida from Elite Fence in Tampa. So they were the first fence company on the bus. We got the bus, and we were literally still in the RV parking lot, and they were just within 15 minutes of striking distance. So we ate dinner, and then they were the first ones on the bus.
Fantastic.
Checking it out. So that was awesome. Great to experience that with them. There's the bus.
I think it looks slick.
That's the coach. So
now Shawn, be honest. Did you buy it because of the blue?
I'm going to be absolutely brutally honest here. We had a requirement list, and the number one thing at the top, I'm not kidding, was
I believe it. I believe it.
Had to have that blue. And the salesman kept asking Heather, like, I got everything you want in this unit, and it was red or some other color. Like, no, but it's everything you want. No, I will give up that, and that, but it's got to have blue. And this guy's like, you really do like blue. Yeah, you don't know me very well. Like, it's got to be blue. I mean, I think this is a good splash of blue. Heather didn't want the whole thing in blue. So we got a little bit of blue, and it was absolutely a requirement with this. And in this unit, the other requirement was we haven't talked about this yet, but we have co-instructors at the Mr. Fence Academy. It's no longer just Shawn King as we're growing out. We have currently seven instructors that are going through the process to help us put on more trainings, right? So we wanted to have some room. Maybe if we had an instructor or two with us as we go around nationally, we're going to pick up a couple of those guys who will help put on the class. And so there's actually bunks in here,
nice.
2 bathrooms. And then the next most critical piece was, in order to do a tour like this, I couldn't imagine trying to give all my energy and all my content and passion all day long, and then jump in the coach and drive 6-8 hours, and then try to sleep and be ready to go at 6 o'clock in the morning, the next morning at the next town.
Yeah.
So I was like, we need to find someone to drive us and live on the coach with us, right? So the idea was we were to find somebody that wants, with a CDL license, that can drive the bus safely. We can sleep in here and work on the laptops and stuff while we're traveling. And so above the driver's seat is actually another bed that comes down from the top. It's a bedroom. So,
really?
So the driver has their own bedroom or a bed and a TV up there. Nice. So that was really cool in this RV. And then, funny story, we had a person in mind that was getting their CDL, so very inexperienced. And then I was having a conversation with one of our team members at home on Sunday at the home show about Friday. We decided to buy this on Friday. And I was telling her on Sunday, we're flying out. Hey, I got to leave the home show early. I'm going to fly out, go get this RV. And she said, well, if you ever need a driver, let me know. And this is by accounts payable, Jenny, front desk girl.
Yeah.
Well, we do need someone to drive it. And she's like, well, I've been training for this my whole life. Like, what? She goes, I drive a school bus every day. And I've actually been driving school buses since I was 13 because my mom and dad owned them. And we used to wash them every weekend. We had to drive them down the driveway. I'm like,
no way.
That's right. You do drive a bus. And she goes, and I drive the university coach all over the place to take the basketball team to the events. Full-size coach. So I showed her a picture of this one. She goes, yeah, that's easy. I drive that all the time. I'm like, oh my God. She said, I'm already on payroll.
Yeah.
I love to travel with you guys. She says, I can bring my laptop, answer the phones, work on everything from afar. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's so perfect.
I said, no, then I said, all right, well, we're picking this up on Monday, and I got to be in Grand Rapids on Wednesday. So how about we fly you out tomorrow? Oh, no. This gets even better. Oh, my God. So she's like, and you do know I have free flights anywhere in the country, unlimited, and my husband does too. I'm like, I forgot about that. She works 4 hours a month at the airport, and in exchange, no pay, she gets unlimited flights for her and her husband and her kids, and then 100 flights for. No, I'm not kidding. So she's like, I could drive you, and if you're going to be there for a few days, I'll just fly home, fly back out, drive you back next one, fly back home, fly back out. And I'm like, can you really do that? Really? And so I said, well, can you fly to Tampa tomorrow?
Yeah, right.
Right. So we ended up getting her a flight the next day to Atlanta. And so I drove from Tampa to Atlanta, and I drove into the airport, into arrivals, picked her up from arrivals. She jumped on the bus and took over, and I got my laptop out on the table in the back, and she drove all the way north. And I was working away, and the bus is crooking them. I was nervous, but she drove like a champ. Like,
nice.
No problem. So
nice.
We actually have a driver. And somebody that we love hanging out with anyways. You know, Heather's up front chatting with her and having a good old time. And I'm like, wow, this is actually working out like it was meant to happen.
Well, I like the idea that you have everything you could ever want with you at all times.
Yes.
Like this has the gears in my mind kind of turning here because, you know, when we went down to New Orleans, me and Sarah and Jeremy went down. Well, Jeremy and I were there to produce content. And so we had cases of just like stuff, right? We had lights, we had audio, we had video, and it was like trying to keep the stuff organized. Like, God bless him. Braden showed up. He's like, where's all your stuff? Like, oh, well, some of it's in that case and some of it's over there. And I kid you not, he was going through stuff. He's like, did you know you've got this G Master lens in that light case over there?
Yeah.
That's where that went. We do have that, huh? But we had, and part of the reason was we had like a 3:00 checkout at this Airbnb we're at. Well, they started knocking on our door at noon. We really need to get in there and clean it. We have somebody else coming in. Like, well, our checkout's at 3:00. Like, we paid for late checkout. So anyway, we started just throwing stuff in stuff. Anyway, but if we were to have one of these little things here,
it's a game changer. All of our creature comforts are in there, and we just know it's ready to go and get on the road and go. You know, outside the big tour, it's going to be nice just to drive, jump in there real quick and drive north to a training here, south, training south or east. That's going to be, and then we can take it for family vacations. We got our daughter made Worlds, and so Perry, Georgia, she's going to be down there in July, racing. You know, so we can tow the horse trailer down there and live in it, stay in it. That's great. I mean, family vacations are going to be awesome. So
we trips. When I was a kid, we showed Arabians, and all of the families that did the best had coaches because they could afford to go to all of these different places because they took their homes with them. Yeah, not their homes, but you know what I mean. They didn't have to get hotel rooms at all these different places and transport. And like you said, they brought their horses with them. So they didn't have to worry about transport or paying for transport. You want to talk about some expensive transportation costs. Try shipping a horse somewhere. It is.
I don't want to.
Astronomical. But no, I think you're spot on. I mean, this is when you had said what you're doing, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense.
Well, and then when I called my accountant and told him, I thought for sure he would shut me down, right? And he gave me the blessing. I'm like, really? It's like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. We had spent $25,000 in travel in the first 3 months of this year.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. Right. And so we have got to look at this again. Like, well, how can we do this better? You know,
especially when we start traveling as a team.
Yep.
Like that's one thing we're figuring out is so when it was me going around doing like just speaking things and stuff like that, that's one thing. Like you're just trying to get one person, and we paid for a lot of it with points. Right. Yep. So a lot of our manufacturers and suppliers accept Amex. So we use our Amex points to move me around. Well, when you multiply that by 3 or 4, now the points are gone. Right. Yeah. And so now you're paying with real money. So that's one thing we're learning this year is that we might need a different transportation model here just to move us all around.
Well, think about the RV.
It's becoming a very real thought in my mind. Especially as we start getting more into the manufacturing side, I could see this also being going out and meeting with dealers and customers too.
Yep.
I mean, they're not going to be in our backyard. They're going to be here, there, and everywhere.
Well, truth be told, the idea was we were looking at getting a plane, following your lead and everyone, Caleb's lead, Matt, and everyone's lead with this, Mark Olson flying a plane. Mm-hmm. So Heather got a flight for me with a friend of hers that owns a plane, and she's like, he'll let you fly a little bit, see if you like it or not. I'm like, that's a good idea if I go down the road of getting a license. And we went for a flight. He flew in, picked me up, me and my boys. It was a Malibu 6-seater.
Yeah, nice
plane. Nice plane. It was actually Joe Montana's old plane. That's what he brought.
No kidding.
Yep. So he picks me up. We fly to Pigeon Forge, which is normally a 6-hour drive. He's like, we'll fly over there. We'll have lunch. We'll fly back. And, just the takeoff alone, I was like a little sketchy. I'm like, okay. And what I learned was the plane's not really it's just kind of on a prayer, kind of just moving, kind of floating. It's not very, doesn't feel very direct on your route. Like there's a little bit of play back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I got into the Malibu, this is a nice plane. I had to slither into the front seat. Literally turn sideways up and over the thing, get into it. And I'm a little guy, not a big guy at all.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I would have thought this, I think it was a $600,000 plane. I would have thought you could just open the doors up and a big old jet, right? But this is what $600,000 gets you. Oh my God. Because this is outside my wheelhouse. So what's my budget going to get me?
Sure.
And, so it was okay. Flying is all autopilot. He had the coolest everything on the dash. He told me his dash was worth $150,000, replaced it last year. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
But the plane had autopilot, right? So he just turned it on, turned some knobs and whatnot. But when we came in for the landing in Pigeon Forge, no. So he's coming in. As he's coming in, he teaches me, I don't know about the red lights. He's like, hey, the 4 red, you're dead. All white, keep on flight or something like that, And I remember that. And they were coming in and it was 2 red, 2 white. And there was turbulence. And I'm holding the iPad. I guess you got to have the secondary navigation piece or whatever. I'm holding the iPad. He's got the headset on. Boys got the headset on. We got our seatbelts on. And we hit this turbulent. And we all hit the ceiling. Hard.
In a pocket.
Knocks his headset off. Laptop goes on the ground. My headset comes off. My boys sideways back there. We're going sideways of a plane. And all I've ever seen is all 4 red on the lights. Okay. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And all the dashboards going off. There's red lights going. Landing gear. The red light kept saying landing gear. I didn't know if it fell off or what. Why is this thing flashing red light and landing gear? Well, he's all calm, gets his headset. We're coming in. I'm like, bro, he's trying to get his headset adjusted. I'm like, now's not the time to adjust the headset. Here's the tablet. I got everything up. And he just last second pulls the plane right back, lands on there. We skip a little bit, shaking around. He doesn't say a word. We land, go in the driveway, turn around. We're taxiing back. I'm waiting for him to say something. He's like, whew, that was the worst landing I've ever experienced in my life. They've been flying for 15 years, right? I'm like, that's the landing that I'm on the plane with? That's the one.
Right.
This is a sign, because I remember thinking I would probably have freaked out and crashed that plane. I don't think I could have been that calm.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have done that. So that told me a couple of things. One, I can't haul tools. I really can't bring a bunch of guys. I'm limited on space. I still got to get a rental car and a place to stay everywhere I go and drive from the airport to wherever I'm going. And I can't fly in bad weather. He's telling me about that. And then he tells me how many planes crash. He literally is like, it happens more often than you know. They don't all make the news, right? Type of thing. I'm like, okay. I thought the only ones that ever crash were the ones you see on the news. He's like, no. Planes crash often. Yeah. And then as on the way back, I said, well, they don't crash into each other, though. That's never happened, right? And he's like, yeah, that happens. And about that, around that time, a yellow light starts flashing and the tower's radio and telling him to change elevation, right? Change elevation or something. We're tracking right with somebody else. We were on 2 different elevations by 1,000 feet, okay? Yeah. And And he's like, help me find the plane. I'm like, find the plane. The computer says it's right there. We couldn't see it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you need to visually see it. So I remember by the time I found the plane, it was half a second. Boom. Like there was no time to react and change direction. And I asked him, I said, how accurate is the altitude? Like, was it altimeter?
Altimeter.
I said, how accurate is that? And he goes, well, mine's accurate, but most guys don't get theirs certified. Like, obviously they should. And so you don't know how accurate there is. They could be told to be running at 7,000 and you're at 7,500. They might be at 7,500. I didn't like that idea. I'm like, okay. Now, so when we got done, it helped me decide that, I don't think the plane is the best idea for us to travel the country.
Sure.
And do trainings. It's one thing if it was me flying myself and it was just me bopping in. But with the team, with equipment, with the fact that you put a training on and we have to teach, I don't know, the 18th of April.
Yeah.
And you've got 50 guys coming in. Oh, sorry, I can't fly out today.
Yeah.
That might be a problem.
Yep.
But I don't want to do it. So,
so
we did try the plane route.
Yeah, your schedule has to be flexible just because if you got weird weather, if you got different, whatever, you got going on, you might get into the plane and it's got a service item. So now it can't fly until that service item gets cleared or, there's a lot of different things. And you're right on the weight. We were looking at a Cherokee 6300 just because it had a lot of weight capacity, but it's also a lot of plane to move around, and one thing we learned is, so for me to fly it, so the company was going to own it. I was going to fly it. Well, that's a whole different, like I need a commercial license.
Oh yes. He taught me that as well. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And if we took other people, until I had my commercial license, if we took other people, they had to share in the expense to do it like legit. Now I'm sure there's instances out there where it's not done totally legit, but and so I was like, man, it's getting crazy. And well, so this was all like April, May, and June of last year. Well, in July, I got COVID super bad. Ended up being hospitalized, got oxygen and all that. And that put that whole thing on hold for a while. Cause like, I'm not going up there and having something happen. But and here's the thing too, in this RV, if something goes bad, you pull it over.
Right.
Yeah. You pull it over. When you're, 7,500 feet in the air, 10,000 foot in the air, when something goes bad, you can't just like pull it to the shoulder.
So I was holding the iPad with all the circles, all these circles, right? And then I learned, as you have your circle on your plane, your circle is not quite a circle. It kind of changes shape all the time, right?
Yep.
And he tells me what that's for. He's like, well, we're safe if we're in a circle. That means we can land. There's something close up, right? What'd you call it? A fly scope?
Glide slope.
Glide slope. That's what he said.
Yep.
So every time we were outside, there was no circles around us. Like we're in this area where there was no circles. Like we got to hurry up and get to the next circle because you're telling me there's no land zone here. We're screwed. He's like, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you could always probably find a field somewhere. That's the answer, right? That's the answer. Like, well, we could find a field. Nothing else. There's an interstate somewhere.
Probably land your expensive plane in a field and jack it all up. Oh my God. Is there insurance coverage for that? Will they buy you a new plane? I don't know.
There are, and they are priced accordingly. Yeah. So, I'm kind of with you on this. It does take longer. You know what I mean? It does. It certainly does take longer, but
I don't know. If I look at the flight to go to Grand Rapids, you got to calculate the time it goes to pack your luggage, drive to the airport, fly out, transfer planes, next one, drive back. And it was going to be, it's a 7.5 hour drive in the RV. It would have taken us 5 to 6 hours to fly. By the time
sure. I was just comparing it like with private flight. So that was really the motivator for me. One of the motivators for me was like, I could be from here to Nashville in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Here to, I could get up to Lincoln, up to Waverly in a couple hours. So instead of 6 hours, it cut the time in half. But no, you're right. If you're flying commercially, it's and that's one thing that was kind of wild to me. So I was talking to Mark Olson about this a while back. He's like, no, when I have like plans, I fly commercially. Wait, you own a plane and you're licensed, you can fly yourself. He's like, no, if I need to be somewhere, I fly commercially and that's where he kind of explained the same thing. Is like, listen, any one of 100 things could go wrong.
Yep.
One of them is the weather, which no one knows. So if one little thing goes wrong, a pop-up storm shows up, I get grounded until the thing my plans could change and I miss that meeting. So no, if I have a meeting, if I have to get somewhere, I fly commercially.
Yep. 100%.
Interesting. But no, I like this. I like this a lot. So in this picture, you're getting some work done. So it kind of illustrates that. Looks like you're getting work done while it's going down the road.
Yeah, Jenny was driving right there. You can't see her because she's not a big girl, but she's in the driver's seat driving. And I'm back there working, going, "Oh my god!" And so this is collapsed in a picture. So that currently I'm sitting in it's all out wide like a house right now. But yeah, so you can still get to the bathroom and the table and the refrigerator and the bed and everything. Technically, I don't really know the laws. There's seatbelts where I'm sitting right there. There's seatbelts on that seat. But you could get up, use the restroom. I'm not sure how safe that technically is. I know it's not safe if we were to get into an accident.
Yeah.
But this is a Freightliner semi, so I feel safe in that this is not like a camper and that it's not a shed on wheels. This thing is a Freightliner semi, like bus. It's
incredibly well built.
Yeah. So that's Superior Fence and Rail front door. That's what I mean, 100 feet. I wasn't kidding. So that garage door is where they put their trucks into. So literally, that's how close we were on this case. And we're self-sufficient, so we had no power. We had no hookup. We didn't need any hookup. This RV can go like 5 days, I'm being told.
Oh, wow.
This was just 2 days, so it was good trial run. But
sure,
inverters and generators and everything on here, holding tanks. So potentially, we should be able to go up to most fence businesses and be somewhere close, or maybe we have to stay at the local RV park closer, right? And then they pick us up and drive us around, possibly. So
and that would be worst case scenario, but even that worst case scenario is completely workable.
Yeah. So
where are we in this? We got a few. We got one more.
Yes. So this is the group we just got done working with in Superior. So this is an example of what we're doing. We literally just go and build a couple of their fences, like projects that are on their books that we're going to build anyways. We just go out there and work with them. And it's not like we tell them exactly how to build it. We just kind of work through them, observe how they're currently doing it, implement a couple of tips and techniques that will improve different pieces, show them how they use some of the tools of the process. These guys were using some of our tools already. And then test different things. Like some of these guys were adamant about, one method or another method. And I'm like, you've never tried this one. So today's the day we're going to try this one. You can never be an expert on it and have an opinion even if you haven't even given it a good, valid effort. And oftentimes that's more than one try. Like practice it until you find, so we vetted a few different installation process and procedures and definitely challenged the way they were thinking about a few things. And at the end of the day, I mean, they were excited. Everybody's excited about having the opportunity to learn. And normally they're nervous at first. Like, who's this guy going to teach me how to build fence? I know how to build fence. Like, I know we're not, you already know how to build fence. We're going to try to make your life a little bit easier. We're going to try to make it a little less stressful.
Sure. We're going to try to find some efficiencies in there.
Yeah.
And
there's a couple guys that are fence ninjas, and the rest of those, there's a couple of guys that have only been in the business for 3 weeks.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So we're here to help get your team together so that you're not carrying all the weight, Mr. Fence Ninja.
Right.
Yes, I know you're badass, but listen, we're going to try to get these guys to help carry weight so you're not doing all the work. And they're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Try to build a support network for them.
Yes. So this job right here was 56 sections of vinyl fence, and it was like 30 to 40 mile-an-hour winds. Never, ever have I built a vinyl fence with wind loads like that. No. It was intense. Stuff flying all over the yard. You would watch posts that we just set vibrate like this in the wind. It would vibrate. We dry packed everything, and I was like, this is a great example of why this method works so well. There's no way we could have built that fence with any other method because the compaction was needed that day.
Yeah.
But it was also tested to the limit. I'm like, we really need to make sure we tamp these things really well. There's a lot of wind load on this fence right now. And so we did it like we normally do, and got it done at the end of the day. It was a longer day than normal. We like to be done around 3:00 on these trainings, if not sooner. And it was 4:30. It was getting late, but we spent a lot of time talking about building fence when we do these trainings. It's not about just building a fence. We literally will talk things to death. Circle up. Let me show you, how to put it in a picket, open and close the door type of thing. Like, we're just going to dissect everything, the process and the procedure for about everything. So there's a good group of guys, great example of what's going on. Sometimes we have a crowd this big. Sometimes we have 25 guys, depending on the size of the company, 30 people.
Sure.
And sometimes only 3, right? So it was a good time. It didn't rain. Oh my God.
Shocking.
Windy. Shocking. It didn't rain. So blessed there.
All right. So we're narrowing it down. So every time we all get together, it rains. So it's not you. So right. we've narrowed it down. So it's not you. We got to figure out who's bringing the rain with them. You know what I mean? We got to figure it out. So we've narrowed it down. You're off the list.
Yeah, I'm out. Somebody else making it rain.
So when you're doing these trainings, so you said you mostly deal with installation, but sometimes you do deal in like the business operations side.
Yep. Nice. Yeah. So this is a concept, man. I'm learning as we go.
Yeah.
This is a unraveling of becoming its own unique beast. We don't have it all figured out. We don't have it. We're learning as we go. But what we're finding is more and more people are asking for, a couple of disciplines, and then they're like, hey, can you stay an extra day? And let's just talk about like business margins, markup, what's the difference, and sales practices and ordering material and working with a shop. Sometimes my son comes and he'll spend all day with the shop crew while I'm with the other crew. And then Heather's working with the office people on culture. Like, we're everywhere. We're like, sure. Where can we give you some ideas? Like, we don't have all the solutions. We don't have a plan wrote down and says, just follow this plan. No, we're literally listening and then looking at our bag of tricks and going, you know what? Someone else had the same problem. This is what they did. Or we had the same problem and this is what we did. Or here's an outside idea box. Try this. And they're like, oh, that's crazy. I said, well, I've never tried it, but this is a thought I just had. Yeah. Just give it a shot. So it's unique in that it's not really defined exactly on AFA trainings are very, very defined exactly what they're going to hit on, what they're supposed to do. We are very flexible in that, and we're by design going to leave it that way, and that we're going to morph and adapt in how we best fit your business. Sometimes it's an owner operator, sometimes it's a $15 million business with guys everywhere.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
It's we're learning, we're adapting.
I like it. I like that. Well, and I think you need to listen. I think there's room for both, right? I think there's room for both
for sure.
This is exactly how it's done, but there's also room for all right, so here's how you apply it to your business. And I think that's the missing piece.
Yeah. Just like digging holes is a big one. It's very common for me to go somewhere and they don't understand ASTM standard for hole depth or width. Okay. Sure. Yep. And so they just don't know, or they don't care, don't understand the importance of it, or you don't understand how it's even possible for me to do that and build fence. One of the common ones is wood post 30 inches deep in the ground. And a lot of these guys are like, well, that's not even possible because I got to cut off 4 or 5 inches anyways. I'm like, well, it's very possible with multiple different ways. Here's one way how we do it. But you're right. That's applying and following and educating them on ASTM standards exist and why they exist, and the benefits of trying to meet them or exceed them. Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, it's the application, right? So that's always the thing is like sometimes when I'll come back from trainings, whether it's whatever the training, social media or otherwise, the thing I struggle with is implementing it into my business, making it apply to my business and how, what our goals are, what our current process is. So I think, if I think one of the missing pieces here is the integrator, right? The person that says, here's what you know, here's what you need, here's how you get those two things together. And it sounds like that's part of what you guys are doing is integrating. Hey, here's the knowledge that you have, but you're not really implementing that knowledge efficiently.
A lot of times they just need a tip or a trick to get them over the hump. Like they're close on a lot of things, and they need that outside perspective. Like, where does that exist? Where, like, it doesn't happen. Your friends and your family around you in your town probably don't run a fence business. And so if you want to bounce an idea off of, you're going to ask somebody else in another fence business in another town. That's great if you have those friends. That's awesome.
Sure.
But to get somebody to come in and sit down and look at and follow and understand your business, and be able to ask questions and then decide whether you want to, you know, what you want to do with that information. But at least it's a outside opinion from somebody that has, you know, been in the business. I think that's a key piece. A lot of times our suggestions or ideas come from experience. I just explain to them what happened to us, or what happened to me, or what happened to Joe, or what happened. Like, I get to share those stories, and I think the stories have value. They back up the content and the ideas. And then it also gives us a platform, Joe, to practice and try new crazy ideas. Like, I'm in a position to, well, I don't know. Let's try.
Let's see. Yeah.
Like, you know, we're in a position where the fence business is doing well. So I don't have to panic over trying to make sure that that's running every day. And I can go play and I can go set posts in my front yard just for no other reason than to pull them back out.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's true. And that's, you know, I think that's important. I think that's really important, is being flexible to try to learn new things too.
Yeah.
Right. To say, I don't know, but let's find out if it works here. Right. Like, this crazy thing Shawn's talking about works for him there, but let's see if it works here. I think that's important.
And sometimes we find out it doesn't. Like, absolutely. There's sometimes I go somewhere like, yeah, that's not going to work here. Or what you're doing, what I would show you would work, but what you're doing is also working. So don't even worry about fighting that battle. Let that be. Right. That's not a problem.
If your method can be used repeatably and reliably and have consistent results, that's probably the method for you.
There's probably other lower hanging fruit. That's what I tell them. Like, there's, okay, we can split some hairs and save some pennies on this little piece, but you got kind of a big problem over there. Let's look at that one.
Right. Right. Well, and that's, so I was having kind of this conversation on one of the videos on TikTok, in that, you know, because I was watching a video of a guy that used a jig, a homemade like wood jig, and we're talking about, that's fine.
Yep.
But it should probably be made out of a material that's not going to move, warp or twist or bow. And then came the conversation that always comes up, and it's fine, about, well, I use a string. Okay. I mean, we used string in the past. Like, okay. And that was kind of my response, was like, well, we don't. But if it's a tool that you use reliably and you can have the same repeated results consistently, then that's a tool for you then.
Yeah, like, it's not a problem. And a lot of times they say that because it's not currently a problem for them at all.
Sure.
I mean, string line can absolutely be used. The problem comes into as you start to grow, to multiply, and you have kids of 3 weeks in the business.
Yeah, the repeatability.
Yeah. So that thing. So a lot of times guys are coming from the wrong perspective. Like,
well, another place this comes up is, well, I don't use a string line to set my posts. I eyeball them in. Great.
Okay.
Go grab a new guy, and have him eyeball those posts in.
Right.
And it will look all types of awful.
Right.
Right. But so it's not repeatable.
Right.
Right. You can do it, but can you quickly and efficiently show someone else to do it?
Right.
Probably not. Right. And there's also the whole discussions of, like, my eyeballs see things differently than your eyeballs see it differently than someone else's. So I'm not a big fan of eyeballing things in general, but some people can, and that's totally okay. But all right, we got a couple questions here, and then we're gonna watch a video. You've got a video queued up for us.
Yeah, I'm getting, like, every car is parked around me. I probably can't get out of this parking lot now.
Probably blocked in.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much blocked in. This is gonna be crazy.
Tracy had asked if you're skipping Idaho. Would love a visit. And then you said nothing's set in stone yet. So that map is not final.
No, there's a lot of spots on that map that are already in our academy. So those are places we're for sure going to stop. Sure. And then where we go between there is open for discussion. And the way that this works, or the concept is, we have what we call like VIP trainings, where those are people that have hired us to come directly to their location, and they're private. We just teach their team specifically. I'm there. You know, we have dinner with them. We worked on everything. We just focus on them. And then there's hosted trainings, where somebody wants to host a training, and they're going to allow anyone to come in that wants to buy tickets for the training. And at that point, you may have, your local competition there.
Sure.
You might have guys from other states, but you won't have Shawn King dedicated just exactly to your team, but you're going to pay a fraction of the cost if you host a training. And we're going to build fence for you, which in theory should pay for all of your costs for the hosting the training, right? So there's a small transport or a fee for hosting a training, but we're going to build 2 fences for you. So you get to collect the money on that. That's it, 100%. So there's different levels of VIP training, and there's hosted trainings, and then there's trainings that we have our co-instructors around the country. One of the benefits of being a co-instructor is you get a training at your location for your team, obviously with zero cost, right? So there's the co-instructor trainings where geographically we get these co-instructors that we come in, work with their team, find time, make that, really work on them, and that's open. So some trainings are private, some are open to the public. We don't have the roadmap exactly done yet, but a lot of those dots on there are places that we know we want to hit. But if somebody else pops in and says, hey, I want to do a hosted training in Denver, well, then we'll kind of reroute that route, swing through Denver and come back up, and figure this thing out. We have time to plan. This is spring of 2023, so we got a little time.
Well, I do like that I see Southwest Missouri on this map. I do like that.
We threw you in there. We were coming right by.
I love it. I love that so much. So Shawn, let's ask this is, if someone wanted to reach out about having either hosting a training or having a private training, like how do they reach out?
So we do have a website, mrfenceacademy.com. Well, also we have the Facebook group, or Facebook pages, not group, Facebook pages, Mr. Fence Academy and Mr. Fence Tools. If you go to the Facebook page, Mr. Fence Academy, it's got our contact info on there. You can direct message us, which is what a lot of people do. Or my phone number is all over the place. I'll give it to you right now. It's 812-760-6845. Text me, email me, call me. We had 2 guys call us while we were driving north of Grand Rapids. I'm driving the RV and talking to them about training events, and wanting to get locked in the schedule. I think this year's kind of tight. We're pretty darn full. We have a wedding coming up. We've got, I'm coaching track right now. We got summer coming in. So we're pretty well. We got East Coast tour we're doing. We're going to go to Toronto in August, in Canada, see Fence Armor down there. They're doing a sponsored training and come down to East Coast. So there'll be a few there. North Carolina, I know we've been asked to. We're going to try to hit that on the way back down. We're going to be in North Carolina in 2 weeks, but it's a private training. We travel a lot for Superior Fence and Rail and do a lot of private trainings for them across the country. So, but they reach out. You got my cell number. You got Facebook, email mrfence at gomrfence.com. I don't think we're terribly hard to get a hold of.
No. And if you watch Facebook, then you know exactly how to get a hold of Shawn. If you're in any one of the Fence Facebook groups, you know how to find Shawn.
I'm pretty available. I put myself out there, answer the call, answer messages. I try to get to everybody.
Absolutely. All right. So what is up, Kevin from Landmark Creations, enjoying the show.
Awesome.
Good to see you here. Let's see. I don't know about this question. Can you have a fence in the ocean? I mean, I guess.
A floating fence.
Right. I guess.
I mean, there's fences all over oil rigs on top of those platforms, and that's in the ocean.
Yeah, they call them nets, but you could have fence in the ocean, sure. What size post do you use for gates? I use 4x6 or 6x6. We use 2.5-inch Schedule 40.
And I use a outside the box thinking on this. We just started this a year and a half ago. 2 4x4s married together with timber locks above grade together, and we like to think of that if you don't want to use a steel post, that's a great wood alternative, because the 4x4s are cross-grained. In other words, they're not going. They have to agree to warp the same direction, otherwise the one's going to fight the other one. And that was the theory, and we are seeing that actually work. Like far less warping of the post, and then the splitting and checking and cracking of a 6x6 is pretty aggressive because of the diameter of it. So when you put 2 4x4s together, you have less of that. So cross-graining, less checking and warping, and then it's actually got more strength. We go 90 degrees to the fence with the 4x4s, which is outside the box thinking. Sure. But I want that strength when the gate opens, and so it's 7 inches, not 5.5, right? Yep. of material. So I got an engineer buddy who wants to do a talk show with me talking about a lot of this stuff, tension compression, dry packing, the cross graining, and he will know more technical reasons what that inch and a half means. But for me, it seems strong and working outside of the box thinking. I don't know anyone's ever done this before than us here recently.
Yep. I like it. So this is a pretty good illustration about the whole string line thing. So Casey says, we use a string and had a little training session on this yesterday, had one crew getting close to the string as possible, and the other was holding off a little. So, and that's the thing, is both crews use string line, but they use similar methods, but two different methods. So each of those fences are going to be a little bit different.
Well, then you got the kid that's floating between crews, just watching this guy and watching this guy. We had that example yesterday with this location that we were training, Superior Fence and Rail. We had two foremen, very capable of building fence. But what I heard feedback from the installers and co-foremen, the newer guys, was, well, I'm on his team, we marked the rails from the ground up, and on his team, marked the rails down. It gets the job done. But what happened was one guy was floating between the crew and forgot what foreman he was working on, so he did it the other way. So some of the posts were marked one way, and some of the posts were marked the other way, and they ran the rails, and they were inconsistent, like awfully. Yeah. Just because the kid's like, well, that's what he makes me do every day. Like, yeah, but you're not working with him today. And I'm like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. You all need to agree on the plan, and you all have to stick to it. Yep. Even if it makes you slower, Mr. Fence Ninja, the overall good for everybody is you need to adapt to one plan that everybody can perform. The weakest link is what drives your ship. So does us no good that you're a super ninja. We got to make the guy that's the slowest guy in your team as fast as possible. That's as good as we're going to be. Yep.
Again, it has to be repeatable.
Yeah.
You have to be able to repeat it with different team members on different crews. Yeah. And that talks about, that goes into the whole conversation about the importance of cross training too.
Yep.
Having different guys that can go on to the different crews.
Yep.
We're kind of getting into that now where the guys in the fab shop are cross training with the production guys.
Yep.
Just because maybe somebody needs a day off to, for whatever reason, they're taking a PTO day or they're taking a vacation day. We might need another team member we might need to pull from fabrication or from fulfillment and shipping and send them out on production. Yep. So I think that's incredibly important.
100%.
Chris Steele is with us, gives us the whoop whoop, and then proceeds to do it on YouTube. Let's go. All right. I appreciate you checking in on both platforms. And then he says, Shawn, we all know you're definitely way outside the box.
Yeah. So
Shawn is most comfortable outside the box.
I don't like living in the box. I don't fit well in a box. It doesn't work.
I would argue that very little innovation takes place inside the box.
Right. It's safe in the box. I don't feel safe right now. I'm a little nervous. I told Chris Steele about this idea and told him I literally was, and Josh Rand, those guys, Cannon Johnson, they're all part of the Misfits Academy team. Alex Harris and James Wazell, these guys all know about this. And I told them all, like, I'm nervous. And they're like, Shawn, you'll be fine. Like, this is kind of a big deal. I'm putting a lot of resources in play here. And,
sure.
But they have a lot of confidence in me. So it makes me feel better to keep on.
I think it's a good plan. I really do. And I think it's giving training to people that need the training the most that maybe can't afford to come into an on-site training.
Yep. 100%.
Which answers the next or leads into the next question. Stephen Moore would like to know, when is the next Mr. Fence business retreat?
So the retreat is different. We've done 2 of those so far. So retreat is going to be in the first quarter of next year. Okay. We don't have the location yet. We're still trying to get that castle in Lexington. But it may not be big enough. The retreat is business related only. There's no installation. We're not even talking about digging holes. We're going to spend 4 days in a mansion with a bunch of fence guys and girls and just discuss the business part of running a fence business, period. I've had 2 successful years so far. We will be doing that again first quarter. We got Fence Tech to play with. We got NAFCA to play with. There's other events we got to make sure we are away from and holidays, and it's tough. Yeah. And then trying to find the venue for it. We don't want to. The whole concept of the retreat is not at a hotel conference room.
Yeah.
we don't want the distractions. So far we've done it at big mansions where there wasn't anything else to do. So we catered breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're kind of like, you're bonding with everyone there and talking fence. Like, be ready for 18-hour days of talking about fence.
Unfortunately, I had a conflict with the last one, but I was there at the one you guys did in Nashville, and I really like that concept because even in the off time, right, between speakers and between sessions, like you're bonding with these other fencing professionals in a group setting. So you're having sub conversations, you're having, smaller breakout sessions, that sort of thing. I like this concept a lot. I do. And if this next one, if we can make it work, I will be there. Absolutely. I got a lot out of it.
It's a lot of work on our end trying to plan all these events. I wish we had them forecasted out further. People ask all the time on the next one. I'm like, I don't know. We're flying by the seat of our pants. Right now. That one here. We're going over here. Oh, geez. It's a lot. We'll get more organized. We just hired 2 more people full-time onto the academy team.
Nice.
So that's going to help tremendously because my team was wearing a bunch of hats. I was, Heather was, but as we're going now, we have two more dedicated people on our team. One will help with accounting with our people that we coach, and then the other one's dedicated to creating video content so we can get more lessons out there packaged up for our people that are interested in that.
I like it. Casey Helton had a point. Yep, trying to eliminate helpers by training them all to be installers.
Right.
I think that's incredibly efficient.
We had, that's what yesterday we had guys doing things that they wouldn't normally do, and I told the foreman, they need to learn it. We're he's an installer. I know, but one day he'll be a co-foreman, and then he'll be a foreman. So let's start teaching them now how to run rails, how to run pickets, how to splice a picket, how to do like that. He's not just a helper.
No,
teach everything.
Well, and him understanding that will make him a better helper.
Right.
Like if he can understand the process and the why, it'll help. He'll be a better helper until he's able to step up into one of those other positions.
You're right. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. Dr. Freck says, I vote the Castle in Lexington. It's super nice, and it's pretty close to me.
Yep.
Well, then if Dr. Freck votes, it's got to be Castle now. I mean, Dr. Freck has spoken.
Well, she's coming back from shopping.
Uh-oh.
A bunch of bags.
How many people did she need to bring with her to carry the bags? That's the important question.
My hands hurt like crazy.
Are they delivering the bags? That's the dangerous question.
Oh God, I hope not.
I don't know. You might be up to something.
Oh, look at no, my goodness. We got to add another training.
But Shawn, some of that's for you, hopefully.
Oh,
so maybe.
Might have bought me a shirt.
That's how Taylor always smooths it over. She knows what she's doing. She shows me the stuff she got for me first. She's like, see, I got you this shirt.
I got a blue shirt.
This is what I'm talking about. Yeah. They show you the things for you first. And they're like, and I got some other stuff too, but you don't want to see that.
Oh, socks, blue socks.
Oh, nice.
That's it.
Team
blue. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. And some other stuff. There's some other stuff, but you wouldn't want to see that. I'll just go ahead and put that up.
We don't want to see that.
We might be stuck.
I know. We're currently stuck.
Oh, well, let's do this. Let's view the video for just a few minutes. You let me know when you're ready to stop. We can talk about it, and then I'll let you get out of here so that as soon as you get a break in the parking,
I think
you guys can hightail it.
Yeah, this parking lot's packed.
I think we might have failed miserably.
We're learning. We shouldn't have parked. We parked in the back of the parking lot, but yeah. All right, this is a video from the retreat. This was the opening piece of the retreat. What was that? Last year, Langley, Kentucky. I can't remember what year it is. This year.
Earlier this year,
This year's retreat. So we just released this on YouTube. So you guys can watch the full video yourselves. But let's just do a little
now and kind of set this up for us. So again, you've rented this mansion of a place, and you set up some dedicated operations training.
Yeah, so it was a 35,000 square foot house. Right. Yeah. Indoor pool, all this stuff. Right. So, and then they have a theater room, which is like, it literally has a dance floor, like literally has a stage lighting, 2 bars in the back of the theater room. Like, this is a house. And it was a doctor couple, that husband and wife, that built it for them. I don't know. So they don't live there anymore, obviously. But this is the first morning of the first day. of me just kind of giving the thought of what's getting ready to happen for 4 days, because most of these guys have no idea. Some of them are returning from the previous year, so they know completely what we're getting ready to go down. But yeah, this is just a little clip from the beginning of that, and then me talking about get out of the driver's seat in your business.
See if we can make this work.
I mean, where I came from in the fence industry, I'm not real proud of at times. I mean, I was the guy that would work, Colin, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I'd work 17, 18 hours a day in the wrong damn direction because I thought if I just work real hard, there's no quit in me, I'll be successful. No, you'll be tired. And you'll be a hard worker. Put me against the best of them, I promise you. Put me in a room of hard work, let's go. Hard work does not equal results. I'm telling you. It is not a one-for-one. You need hard work for results, don't get me wrong, but you can hard work in the wrong direction just as easy. Has that not happened to you guys before? Have you not busted your ass and like, well, that didn't turn out like I thought it was going to turn out, but I worked hard. Yeah, we got to be smart about it, right? So this whole week, I want you guys to be thinking about challenging what I'm saying. Not just me, what Matt says and Todd says and Tony says and Super Sam over there says. I always call you Super Sam. I don't know why. Super Sam says, right? Cannon and Chris are going to share ideas. Colin's going to be sharing things up here. You really need to listen to what they're saying and don't like. There's a difference between just hearing it and feeling it, okay? And some people are better at speaking, they can deliver that message better, but I challenge you to really listen to what they're trying to say and feel it and take a nugget away, pay attention. If you guys do that this 4 days, your wheelbarrow will be full of freaking nuggets. When you get back, you won't even know what to do with them. You'll be looking through them, I don't know where to start. There's so much valuable content here, but it's not going to be given to you in a handout. Notice that. I'm not going to give you a handout that you can take home and read. When you don't have time, you'll never read it. It won't happen. So I challenge you to stay focused, stay engaged here in the time, in the now. We're all here. We shut down our lives, travel across the country to be here. So invest into it, okay? Part of the journey, 100% perspective. You get out of it what you put into it, okay? Here we go. I'm going to talk about one of the number one, how would I quantify this? The most important step you need to take in your business today, right now, in my belief, to move from owner-operator to entrepreneur, spirit, company. So before I go into that number one step, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Owner-operator, you guys get a drink if you want, just move around. Owner-operator is the guy working his tail off in his business that is digging holes, that is selling jobs, talking to customer, ordering material, everything. Owner-operator. He's badass. He's a fence ninja. Like, if we got to build a really cool fence, we're calling that guy. All right? He owns his job. Doesn't know it, but he owns his job. He works a ton of hours. That's an owner-operator. Talented, great guy. We need him in the industry. Then you have the entrepreneurialist or the serial entrepreneur, okay? This guy pulls levers and pushes buttons, motivates, uses his mouth to move a machine that builds fence, all right? Lots of fence, great fence, but maybe not the most craftsman, ninja, super fence guy, okay? But he can move a mountain of fence, all right? So those are their two different pieces. Think about that right now. Put yourself in a bucket.
We can probably stop there.
Are you living?
And let them watch the rest of it again. Number one way, I think you can move from owner operator to entrepreneurialistic business. I'm going to give you guys that in that video. If you really want to move, some people just want to live as an owner operator, and that's fantastic. And I'll talk about that. Awesome. Like, that's not me, right? It's not. Yep. I'm not. And a lot of guys, it's not them either, but they don't know how to move from one to the other.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of guys get stuck there. So I think the natural progression is they probably worked for someone else at some point. They learned the trade. They saw the business run from their perspective. right? And they saw all this business and all this money, and I'm going to go get that money myself.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair. Do better for yourself. I get it. And then they go out on their own, and they know building fence.
That's
so
right.
They build a ton of fence. But then they're like, "Ooh, what happens when the phone rings?" Because in their prior experience, someone was there to answer the phone. It wasn't them, it was someone else. And what happens? So now I've got a helper. How does payroll work? I don't know. They had someone that did payroll, back at my old job, and just on and on. Marketing. There you are. Marketing and the whole thing is, they get stuck in that place. And I think, and here's one of the reasons I think it's hard to move from owner operator to business owner. And I think, well, business operator, maybe let's say that I think you're right when you say they own a job. They've got a glorified job. Right. But to transition, you have to start hiring other people that don't directly build fence. And that can be scary. Right. You can't hear me. Braden, can you hear me? All right. So maybe we lost. You can hear me? Okay. So Braden can hear me. Let me try. Can you hear me now? Guys, leave a comment below if you can hear me. Maybe, well, because Shawn, you blipped out there for a second. So maybe something, I don't know. Can anybody out there in Wonderland hear me? Braden can hear me here. Where are you watching, Braden? Okay. But you can't hear Shawn either? All right. So we hear you, not Shawn. Okay. So Shawn, maybe try backing out and then coming back in. I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to type you a note. There he goes. Okay. So, all right. So what I was saying though is I think it's hard for some folks to transition from being owner operator to being a business operator to operating their business. So working. All right, here we go. Let's see.
Gotcha.
All right, there you are.
I don't know what happened.
Hey, technology is great when it works.
I guess there's too many people in this small parking lot taking up the bandwidth right now.
Yeah, they're soaking up all the 4G.
We're getting swarmed by people in this parking lot. You can't see, but yeah, we're getting swarmed. But I could hear you. I heard you. I just couldn't respond.
Okay, yeah. So basically, the point was they're having to hire people that don't directly drive revenue.
Right.
Right. So the person that answers the phones, whether you call them a receptionist or whatever you'd like to call them, the person that answers the phone when it rings doesn't directly drive revenue. Now, They're important. They indirectly drive revenue because having a nice, cheerful voice on the other end of the phone is a good first impression.
That's right.
Right. Because so sometimes I'll return guys' calls, like guys leave messages or emails or whatever, and then I'll return the call. And so I'll call them, and it'll be Acme Fences Joe. And then you can hear like nail guns going in the background, and they're kind of out of breath because they just ran to somewhere that was a little bit less noisy.
That's right.
Yeah. And imagine that from the customer's perspective. It isn't totally bad, but it could be better. However, if a cheerful voice answers, Acme Fence, this is so-and-so. How can I help you? Hey, is so-and-so there? Absolutely. Let me patch you through or whatever. That's a better look, right? It's a better first impression. So it indirectly drives revenue. I would be more likely to do business with someone that their phones answer professionally rather than someone who's out of breath on a roof, whatever.
Yep.
But that's the hard part, right? Is transitioning to business operator. You have to start hiring people that don't directly drive revenue. And you have to take yourself out of directly driving revenue.
That's right.
So I like to control things. That's my nature. I'm the best at doing the thing. Just let me do it. Right.
Yeah.
That's hard for me to handle. Like when we started new division or new department, whatever, I like to do it because I developed the process and I figured out. And then it's almost, I'm trying to be better at this. I really for sure am. But it's almost like, so I'll get one of our team members, like, you're the new person. Right. Great. But then I keep doing it. And they're like, hey, so you told me I was going to be the person, but I just help you. Like, you need to leave and let me be the person that does the thing.
It's hard to do.
It is. It really is. I mean, and it's not saying anything about the team member, right? Like, literally, like, I love the place we're in right now because all we have is rock stars. We've whittled out. All we have is rock stars. So the person I'm handing it to is incredibly qualified. They could probably do it better than I can.
That's right. That's right.
But it's a control thing. I'm like, but I want to hold it a little bit longer. Let me just hold it a little bit longer.
But that didn't happen overnight, Joe. And so you went through a journey where the person you were handing off to was not a rock star. And so these guys, when they move, they're going to experience that. And they're going to be very difficult to trust somebody that's learning themselves. And that's going to cost money and time, and things are going to happen. Sure. But they can't become a rock star immediately. So
that's right.
The price that has to be paid. It's a journey you have to take. It's a commitment you have to make to help them become a rock star. And understand they're going to mess some shit up.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it the way you would have done it. It's part of the journey. I've had to learn that the hard way, that done is better than perfect.
Right.
Love when you say that.
Yeah.
I remind myself that, it's not perfect, but guess what? It's done. And if Shawn King would have been in charge of that, it probably still wouldn't be done.
Right. Well, right. Because listen, if we could take this camera and travel down to my desk, it is a hot mess.
Right.
Right. Like, it is like, it's got everything on it. Like, just, there's a dozen different things that are on that desk, dozen different projects. But right now we're into e-commerce and shipping, fulfilling. So that's the thing I'm in right now. And the rest of the stuff is just kind of waiting for me to have an extra little bit of attention. So the number I've heard is, if you can find someone that does something to 75 to 80% of what you call perfect, that's when you hand it off.
I can go with that.
It frees you. If they can do 75 to 80% of your version of perfect, that's when you hand it off and you let them do it. To your point, they've got to learn somehow.
Right.
They're going to stumble. They're going to trip and fall. But here's another place that I struggle. It's easier to say, well, here, just let me do it real quick. I got that. No problem. Let me just, that is the wrong answer.
That video gives you some great explanations. That video we just watched. I go into detail on that journey and what that's going to look like and what to expect and how to react to it. And with some analogies and some, it's worth 25 minutes to watch that video, because I'm gonna go into detail about that. Don't go down there and try to fix it. That ship has sailed.
Yeah. Well, and by letting the team member fix it, you also teach them how to fix it.
Well, we only learn by failure. We grow by fail. Fail forward, fail fast, fail often.
There you go.
Got to be okay with it. So.
Yeah, I like it. Aloha. So Josh was saying the Academy was eye-opening for me and Bridger, my son, who is second-generation fencer. Thank you, Mr. Fence Academy, for the win.
Yeah, he was there at that retreat.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Josh.
Steven's got a good point. So do not mistake movement with progress. You can run in all the place. You can run in place all day and not go anywhere, or not go nowhere. Says Denzel watching.
Yep.
Solid point. Or in your example, you can be running in the wrong direction.
That's true. Absolutely. The wrong
direction. Further away from where you need to be. Casey Helton says, we are stuck there, slowly moving forward, but I'm dragging a partner.
Yep.
That happens. Let's see. Scanning down. Casey Helton says, yep. All right. Divine Fence is here. Hey, Shawn and Joe, how are you guys?
What's up?
Doing very well. So Casey's got a good question. What do you do when you have a rock star that hits a decline when you hire another rock star? So competing rock stars.
Mm-hmm. My first question would be, that first rock star may not have been as much of a rock star as you thought, because now you have a comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And if that person doesn't want to grow, the first rock star doesn't want to grow and become better because the second rock star is making them look bad or intimidating them, or they're being judged against them, then we need to relook at that first rock star and say, maybe they were getting the job done, but if they're not willing to grow with us, they're probably not the best team member. We want people to push themselves outside their comfort zone. We want to be okay with someone else pushing the envelope, and you got to play catch up now. That's fine. Like, create an environment that's okay. Don't create an environment where the first rock star is being backed against the wall and you're comparing to make them feel bad. Like, give them an opportunity to win, give them training, give them benefits, make it okay that they're not as good as the newest rock star, but you can improve. Like, you have to create an environment, Casey, that allows them both to win and succeed at their different paces.
Yeah, and so Casey follows that up. It says, I don't compare them with each other. I think he just lost confidence. And could be. And so Casey, I think one of the points Shawn made is true in that did he decline, or is he being outshone?
Or is the bar just now raised? He may not have declined, but now the new rock star has the bar here, and you're comparing here like, that was okay before, but I'm not okay with that performance now. Because we don't know until we learn what we didn't know. And that's just life. So everything is going to come that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, maybe he did lose confidence. Maybe he thinks that the second rock star is being brought on to replace him. Right. And so he's like, wait a minute, why is this a competition all of a sudden?
You need to educate them that this is helping our team grow better for everybody. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
If
we need more rock stars.
If they feel threatened that this person's better than them to take their job, then that's a nasty mix. Like, you just don't want that.
Yep. Well, because then the team isn't working together; it's working against each other.
That's right.
100%. Then it's an unhealthy. I think companies need healthy competition. I think they need a scoreboard so everyone knows what the score is and how they can make the score better. But unhealthy competition is when the team is fighting with each other, or when they feel like they're competing with each other. There can definitely be an unhealthy mix in there for sure.
Yep.
The first thing we do when we even announce that we're going through another hiring round is we need more rock stars, right? So usually we'll do it final Friday. I do lunch with all the guys and gals, and we're sitting around a table going, look around. We're all rock stars here. We need more people that are like us. This table needs to grow because we're doing this, that, and the other thing. We need to grow. And we can't all do more, right? So we need more people to help pull the line, sort of thing. So I think probably some of it is setting it up, right? Setting up the scenario for why there's more rock stars coming on board.
Information, expectations, they all need to be in the loop, what the plan is, in the same boat, rowing the same direction. Yeah. Communication.
John says it right here. Multiple rock stars just mean the band will be more legendary.
Boom!
And I love it because this is coming from one of our rock stars. So John he's in our fab shop. So John actually, he came from an entirely different field of work. So he came from just an entirely different field of work. So now he was working. So really we bring everyone in that's in-house or on our product that works in the business, not out in the field. And as like a material handler. So unloading trucks, loading trucks, it's a pre-staining boards, helping fabricating, helping shipping, fulfillment, help everything here on building and grounds to get a feel for what everyone likes. Well, John picked up on welding. He's like, I want to learn how to weld and to be a good welder. And by golly, John's been with us for, John, don't hate me, I want to say it's 2 months, 2 or 3 months. So not a long time, right?
Right.
But he's now Matt's like number 2 guy on welding.
Awesome.
Because John decided this is what I want to do. This is how I want to help the team get better. Yep. Right. And as John puts it, the band is getting more legendary. That's absolutely right.
Like it.
Adam Sims says, I'm learning real quick how much extra help makes a difference on the job site, efficiency and speed wise. I believe Shawn has 3 crew teams. Do you concur, Joe? How many people are on your crews? Ours are three-person crews, 3 to 4. It depends. Depends on the job.
Depends on the man hours. If we have a 40-hour man-hour job, we want to do it in one day, we'll put 4 guys.
Yep, you're going to have 4.
We generally run 3-man teams, but that doesn't mean it will always be that way. Sometimes it's a 2-man team if it's a 16-man-hour job. And 2 guys. Yep. Yeah.
Well, right now our primary production crew is a 2-person team, just because the third person moved to Texas. Sometimes that's going to happen. So you wanted to be a cowboy, so he moved to Texas.
I got some where boots.
The Cowboys are. So there you go. He probably has a pair of boots like that now. You never know. But no, so three-person team is kind of where our sweet spot is. I like it. Now the truck holds 4 people, so we could have 4 people. Actually, I think technically it holds 5. There's three seat belts in the back seat anyway. But 3-person team is where we're at. Casey says we compete as a whole against previous week totals. I like that a lot. I try not to let them compete directly with each other. Absolutely. Yep. In the fulfillment room, I put a calendar, a dry erase calendar up there, and we keep track of how many shipments we made in each day. Right. So the thing, well, one, it helps us track. Like Mondays are bananas. So we know Monday we just plan on making boxes and sending them. Fridays are slower. So we make boxes ahead of Monday. Anyway, but it also is a little bit of a competition too. Like, hey, last Monday we got 30 some odd packages out. Like, let's get more. Like, how do we get more packages go out the door? In Casey's example, we don't say, well, Eric sent this many and Joe sent that many, right? Like, that's not healthy. I don't know that you don't compete against each other,
right?
But
you want the team to win.
Yeah, exactly. So Casey, I like this a lot. Competing as a whole against previous week's totals. I like that. Who was telling me this story? I was out at Burgandy. The manufacturers of the chain link weaver were bringing in. So when they have someone buy a machine, first off, he says, here's what you do. You get a piece of chalk. And when you come in, you write on the floor the previous day's number of rolls. And that's the number you got. You want to erase that number. If you don't erase the number, then that number's, that is
there.
The highest roll. And eventually you're not going to erase the number anymore, but you're always competing with the previous goal, right? Or the previous high. So I like it, Casey. You're welcome for the feedback. John said, well, dadgummit. John says, going on 4 months now, looking into many more.
You were close.
I was close. John, it feels like just yesterday. It feels like just yesterday. Time flies when you're having fun. But no, I mean it when I say, like, we're in a really good spot. And I want other people to be there because, I mean, that's a whole different discussion too, Shawn, is where was I listening? I was maybe Dan Wheeler's podcast. They were talking about this, about keeping on a B player, right? Just because you need production and just because it pulls everybody down.
Yeah.
I think you get more done when you cut the B player, when it's nothing but the A team, than you do keeping that B player around.
It's
a
tough one.
It is, because there's production. I mean, even a B player is producing, right? Not as much as the A player, not as much. But I think what happens is when rock stars see that, they're like, wait, well, if he's only outputting this much, and I'm outputting this much more, but we're both working the same schedule. We're both. Why am I being why am I a rock star? I could just do that.
Yep.
Right. And
you're allowing
to set that precedent.
You're allowing it to happen. Yep.
Absolutely.
100%.
So we trimmed it all out. It's done. But anyway, Shawn, I tell you what, we've made it 2 hours and 18 minutes.
I need to, start wrapping up.
Your tools team here has something to tell you. The tools are always
watching. Look at that new logo. What do you think about that guy?
What's that?
So we changed the logos. You see the logo there?
Yeah, I like it with the thumper.
Yeah, he's got the thumpers, got gloves on now. Has a hard hat on now. Mr.Fence Academy logo is a little bit different. He's got an iPad in his hand now, and he got a little polo shirt on. So
I like it. Gregory's Fence and Deck has a question. Suggestions on the best way to cut a B player. Have one we've always been hanging on to for a while. So I watched this movie. What is it called? It's a baseball movie. I don't know. So the GM is training like his assistant on how to cut players. And he's like, all right, you're going to cut me and go. And he's like, well, listen, you've been playing really well. You've had a great season. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move you. You've been sent down to this other team, and we don't think this is a reflection on you. It's just where we need. And the guy's like, stop.
Cut the chase.
Yeah. Listen, you got to rip the Band-Aid off. You sit down, you say, so-and-so, you've been traded to so-and-so. Please get in touch with so-and-so, and they will make your travel arrangements. Any questions?
No questions.
Because he's like, here's the thing: is if I'm going to shoot you, you want to get shot 3 times in the body and bleed out, or 1 time between the eyes, be done. The guy's like, are those my choices? I don't want those to be my choices. But no, but that's the thing is like you don't want to drag that out. You don't want it. So that's how we do it. Is and unfortunately we've had to do this recently. Is we've had to say so and so. Unfortunately, you and the team just aren't a good fit moving forward, and we're going to have to let you go. Right. Here's your final check. It is for, in this case, it was for the remainder of the hours in the week. I think that's fair. Here's a full check showing the remainder of the hours. We got to let you go.
We recently had that situation, one of our academy companies we coach, and they had a similar situation come up. It actually was a B player and a friend. And,
that's harder.
We got to cut it. So, but give them we agreed a 1 month pay.
Okay.
It is today. There's a month for you to get on your feet. No hard feelings. Just holding us back. Let's go. Send it. And I think that's the most amicable way to do it. Like, don't screw them over. Like, I'm going to help you. I've allowed this to happen. You've allowed this to happen. It's happened. We got to move on. Here's a whole month's worth of pay.
Yep.
We're done. See ya.
We're going a different direction.
Yep.
And those conversations don't go as bad as you think they're going to. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like I role play this in my mind the whole night before, I'm like, oh gosh, it's going to turn into this or that or the other. And it never does. Yeah. Usually they're surprised. They're not expecting it. But,
if they're a B player, they're probably not real happy anyways. Everybody wants to win. And B players know they're B players, and they know that the other ones are rock stars and A team, and they know they don't fit. They're looking for an opportunity out. They're not going to be quitters. Oh, I'm going to quit. So you're actually, that's why they're happy. It's a win-win. A lot of the times they know it's not right for them. It's not that they're a bad person, but they don't have the skill set to perform at an A team level for whatever position you have them in.
Sure.
Square peg in a round hole. Find a different size hole.
Well, and one thing we found is once you cut and once they're not a part of the team anymore, there's like a collective sigh from the rest of the team.
Yep.
You're like a sigh of relief. Like, oh, okay. Well, usually, so me and their direct report have had this conversation. Like, there will be conversations before this decision's made. It's not a decision you make lightly, but usually everyone else kind of sees it coming. Everyone else like, yep, that makes sense. Yeah. And so 100%. That's something I've had to be better at. I've given second and third and fourth and fifth chances across the board. And ultimately that's not fair to everyone else. I mean, that's the thing. Like it does. Yeah,
done the same thing. I have to fight it all the time.
But it's not good for the team. It really, really isn't. James Mahone says, James, I'm sorry, I butchered that last name, I'm sure. Hi, Joe. Hi, Shawn. It's James from Liverpool, England. Welcome from across the pond, James. Can't wait to hear your news. Hope it's nothing to do with expanding foam. Well, good news, James. It's not.
It's not.
No. So the news was we've already broke the news, so I can share it with you directly. No, Shawn's taking Mr.Fence Academy on the road. Now, unfortunately, it's in an RV, and RVs do not go across the pond very well. So he probably will not be ferrying that over to the UK.
England. Yeah, nope.
But if you make it stateside, he's going to be pretty much everywhere in the United States next year. This was a movie, Moneyball. That's absolutely it.
Moneyball.
So Casey said, friends always end up B players. I don't know about always, right? Like you hear about some partnerships between friends that are just massively successful. I think, well, it's like anything. I think you have to set the correct expectation up front. right? Like, listen, you're not getting this job because you're my friend. You're getting this job because I think you are the best choice for the job. I know from my experience with you in the past that you are a rock star. You're an A-team player. That's why I want you to be a part of the team, sort of thing. But that's always hard. That dynamic's going to be hard. Just like, like working for your dad.
Yep, family.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are some unsaid expectations there.
I know. Yep.
So, I mean, Shawn, so you're experiencing this from the other way, right? So you've got kids working for you. So, and you've worked with your dad. So you've worked with it both
sides. And it was a struggle both ways. My dad and I, not so good. My boys and I'm conscious of that. I'm trying to not be my dad.
Well, and that's the thing. So working for your dad is actually worse than working for someone that you don't know. Because in my experience, now my dad's a great guy. I don't want to say that, but he had to go out of his way to prove to everyone else that I wasn't getting preferential treatment.
Right.
Meanwhile, the guys I was working with just assumed I was getting preferential treatment. So it's like, so that meant my dad had to go further out of his way to prove. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you would not expect anyone else here to do this. But you're expecting me to do this to prove that you're not giving me preferential treatment, you know, and it's just, not a fantastic experience.
Been there.
But I'm better for it now. It built character. That was what my granddad always said. Suck it up. You're building character.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Well, Heather just showed up with more bags. She went back into shopping.
So this is kind of an interesting thought. Stephen Moore says, put them on a waiver. It says waiver, but I bet waiver once they start slacking like the NFL.
Oh,
I don't know. So I think that's prolonging it. I think you either cut them or you don't.
Yeah.
I think prolonging it just sets the wrong precedent. I think.
Yep.
One guy's opinion. But well, Shawn, we've made it basically 2.5 hours. Look at that. Look at it.
We said let's hold this to an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, and if we keep this going any longer, Heather's going to go get more bags. So
we're stuck here. We are blocked in.
Well,
there's no room.
But Shawn needs to go play defense on the shopping though. Like, it's you've gone undefended for too long on the shopping spree here.
We got to figure out how we get these cars out of here. I'm literally blocked in.
Yeah. Oops. You just need to put on an orange vest and start directing them out of the way. Like, you're out of here.
You got to go.
Shawn, thank you so much. I'm so excited to watch this unfurl, this whole plan get put into action. And I'm also like, I think we will be talking more in the near future about this motor coach idea, because the more I think about what we're doing, it makes more sense.
I'm sure they make an orange one.
Well, and if not, I bet that we could wrap it. I bet we could wrap that thing in orange chrome, and that would be just fantastic.
That's right.
But then I couldn't take it home. Taylor would not allow that. So
well, thanks for having me on. I'm glad I got to share all that stuff with everybody in your world and our world. So awesome stuff. Together we get better. So
guys, check out the Mr. Fence tools linked below in the description. Well, depending on where you're watching. On YouTube, it's in the description. Facebook and LinkedIn, it's in the first comment below. Also check out Mr. Fence. Just search Mr. Fence on YouTube. You will find content there.
Mr. Fence Academy has a YouTube channel, and Mr. Fence Tools has a YouTube channel. So check out both of those, and then mrfenceacademy.com.
Okay.
For more academy information. So
very good.
All right,
Shawn, thanks so much for coming on. Guys out there, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you the good fences make good neighbors, and I'll see you next week.
See ya.